Victory 6-5 tonight against the Xavier Musketeers. Final game of this three-game series Sunday. On a cool and cloudy Sunday in Austin. Welcome everyone to UFCU Disch-Falk Field. Today the final game of a three-game series. Longhorns looking for the series sweep against the Xavier Musketeers. Take a look back at the first two games of this series. Friday night, Texas winning in walk-off fashion. Duke Ellis providing the heroics in the 12th inning with the walk-off, and of course the pie in the post-game celebration. Saturday, Texas got the bats going in the 5th inning, plating 5 runs and taking the lead for good. Ryan Reynolds had the big hit in the inning. Longhorns held on for the 1-run victory. And today, Texas looking for the series sweep as we welcome you in. Greg Swindell, Keith Moreland, Steve Lennox, delighted to have you on board. Before we talk about the series, we tip our cap and acknowledge the Hall of Famer. Greg Swindell last night inducted into the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Quick turnaround, but congratulations.
Yeah, it's good to be back in the booth. Last night, the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, the city of Waco did it up right. It was fun. The class that I went in with, the great athletes, a lot of fun to mingle and talk to, but more importantly, my family and friends were there with us, and it was a special night for me.
Well, congratulations, partner. Well deserved. I promise you that. When you look at Texas, and Greg will tell you the same thing that I did, you get together and you looked at the month of March, 21 games in 31 days. The teams they had to play, LSU, Stanford, TCU, Texas Tech, those kind of things, you thought maybe 500 in this month would be a good month. With a win today, they can go 13-8 in this month against that competition, their 20th victory of the year. So you look at this, what's taking place, I tell you what, I didn't think we would be at this point. Take care of business today. It's been a really good month.
And the victory last night, the 100th for head coach David Pierce in 2+ seasons as the head coach of the Longhorns. They look for the series sweep today. Xavier looking to salvage a final game of this series, and they've had their moments, they've had their opportunities. Some have gone by the wayside.
Yeah, they have gone by the wayside. They've had a chance to steal one in these first two games, and Jake Shepsky's been a major reason because of that. He's 6 for 10 in this series. He's done an outstanding job. He's driven in 4 runs. And you just look at it, they're going to be facing a young right-hander, Zeke. And when you look at him, Corey has been good early. He's had trouble pushing through the middle part of the game.
Yeah, that's what you want to get out of Corey today. The fastball, curveball, really good changeup. Get ahead of hitters. We've seen Texas pitchers able to do that, but finish them off. That's what he needs to do today. And try to get it at least into the middle part of this ball game and really not have to grind through it. Good day to pitch with the wind blowing in, cool afternoon.
Chris Given entered at 350 prior to this series. He's one of the hottest hitters in the lineup, but his bat has cooled off. 1 for 5 in the opener Friday, 0 for 5 Saturday, and a 1-run loss. Takes the first pitch of the ball game for a strike, and we are underway.
First time we've seen Corey Cobb in sleeves this season, and they're still not really long sleeves, but most of the time he's pitched without sleeves. It is a chilly day. It says 47 on the board. Wind chill's got to be much cooler than that.
Given from Castle Rock, Colorado. Xavier with a roster with players from all over the Midwest and even into the northwest portion of the country. See the flags not blowing in quite as advances last night, but still nonetheless stiff breeze blowing in.
Yeah, it's 20 miles an hour. The ball's not going to carry. As Greg said, it's a great day to pitch.
Tate Shaw in the dugout prior to the game was talking about the first pitch of the ball game last night. He was tested on a ball down the right field line that he had to go and get. And then he had an error later in the game.
First time in the outfield in a long time for Tate, and not an easy night to do it on with that wind.
I tell you, fly balls are an adventure.
Given 8 extra base hits on the season, fouls the pitch off. Caston Peter behind the plate for the series finale. So 2 freshmen serving as the battery for David Pierce.
Well, Caston's done a nice job. He's getting better every day, working at his job, swinging the bat well, getting an opportunity to get in the lineup.
Payoff pitch upstairs. Given reaches with a leadoff walk to open the game.
You know, the mindset for me, Zeke, sometimes I look at that win as a catcher and I'm trying to lead my pitcher. I'm saying, you know what? Let's attack right here. It is not a good day to pitch, and you walk the leadoff guy.
Well, he went right after him. First pitch of the game, fastball down the middle, and then went breaking ball and lost his release point after that on the fastball.
Ryan Altenberger, Musketeers second baseman, lines one to right field. Austin Todd drifting back shy of the warning track, hauls it in for the first out of the ball game.
That's what you're looking for on a day like this.
No doubt. The center of the diamond, from the 365 mark in right center to the 370 mark in left center. Hit it that way as hard as you want to. Zach Zuby hit a ball last night. Greg, you weren't with us. As hard as you could hit it, the outfielder was coming in on. Just absolutely smoked.
That's about 3 or 4 with the wind this year. He's hit like that.
Aubrey Major stands in, switch hitter, playing left field, swings at the first offering, and it's 0-1, was out in front. Major 1 for 3, 2 walks, and a sacrifice Friday, 2 hits, pair of singles in last night's 1-run loss. Xavier left the potential tying run at third base against Mateo Boki in the 9th inning. Boki got a double play ground ball. They took the 2 outs in exchange for a run, but Xavier left the potential tying run at third base. Ground ball out, ended it.
At the ceremony, I had my phone on the score, and I was watching. I saw it was 6-3, and I'm like, yeah, all right, they won this one. And then I looked back, and it was 6-5.
6-3. Yeah, it was 6-3 with the bases loaded and nobody out.
I couldn't see that part.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss.
Good changeup.
First strikeout of the ball game for Coy Cobb. He's walked 1, struck out 1.
He started out with a changeup to get ahead of him, and that one right there, it's speed more than anything because that changeup is up in the zone. So good arm speed and just enough speed off of that pitch.
Matt Warkentin stands in, cleanup hitter in game 3 of this series. And Warkentin has 3 hits over 11 at bats. He hit into the double play in the 9th inning that brought the runner in from third and made it a 1-run ball game.
And it was a missile. What he did, it was a screamer right at Ford.
Hit the ball hard. A couple of hits last night were also well struck. Pulls that one foul outside of third base. Musketeers last weekend at home, their first home series of 2019, took 2 of 3 from Evansville. During the week, split a home and home with Wright State. Right now at 9 wins, 17 losses. This is their 22nd road game so far in the season.
Wow. Makes it very difficult.
Warkentin, the count in his favor, 2-1. A leadoff walk. Coy Cobb got Altenberger on a line out to right and a strikeout, and misses in tight.
That's your first thought. And Greg will tell you the same thing. Big, strong right-hander, 6'6" guy. You're going to crowd him. You don't want him to extend. So you're going to see fastballs off the plate and off speed away.
At 14 home runs with Xavier in 2018, one of the top power hitters in the Big East Conference. Skies one in the air down the right field line. Austin Todd angling over in foul territory, reaches over the railing and makes the catch. Austin Todd with a great grab down the right field line, and Xavier turned away here in the first inning after leading off the inning with a walk.
And with the breeze, he kept his eye on it the entire time. Concentration on this catch right there.
David Pierce all bundled up, picked up win number 100 as the head coach of the Texas Longhorns in last night's 6-5 victory. We take a look at the Longhorn lineup for the series finale.
Well, you obviously see two freshmen right at the bottom back in the lineup, and Regan, but Caston Peter really has done an outstanding job. He's hit 2 of the last 3 home runs that Texas have hit this season. He's done an outstanding job. 250 on the year. You can see he's driven in 8 runs, and he's in the lineup here today, and they're going to face a guy that, hey, this is good old-fashioned hardball. He can let it go. He's got a good heater.
Yeah, Connor Gramus, you see there, 95 to 100 miles an hour with the fastball, but sometimes with that velocity, you lose command and control. He's got the 23 walks on the season, but that heater can get up there.
Duke Ellis takes ball 1 from Gramus, who DH'd the first 2 games of this series. Mentioned the walks, 5 in each of his last 2 outings. Struck out a career high 11 over 5 innings against Evansville last Sunday. And Xavier lost that ball game 10-2 in the series finale.
Well, Zeke's allowed a lot of base runners. His whip 1.67. Opponents hitting about 220 against him. That's a pretty good number. But just run off the page, the big thing is he's allowed 23 walks in 27 innings of work. That's just too many free base runners.
Grammons pitched on the Cape Cod League last summer for the Brewster Whitecaps. Selected as preseason Big East Co-Player of the Year for 2019 by the coaches around the conference.
Two-way player. Excellent hitter as well.
And available to go into the DH spot in this game if they lift him from the mound.
He's not listed as the DH, but he very easily could be that DH.
3-1 on Ellis. 255 hitter on the season. And a full count on the leadoff man here in the home first inning.
Quick arm. He's got a quick arm and a fast fastball. That's tough to. You got to be ready in a hurry if you're hitting.
Very limited in terms of experience. Right back through the middle of the diamond. Ellis hit it back where it came from, and he's aboard with a leadoff base hit here in the first inning.
He got the count, the 3-2 count. You know the good fastball. He got it ready, and this is chunk and duck right here. Look out.
Duke Ellis now.
That'll get your attention.
Yeah, it will.
8 hits over the course of his last 6+ ball games. Leadoff base runner. And Eric Kennedy will stand in. Eric's had a slow go of it in this series so far. 0 for 5 Friday night, 1 for 4 Saturday. So 1 for 9 on the series to this point. After collecting 4 hits in a game against TCU last Saturday, a week ago yesterday, and then last Sunday in the finale. Natalia Monastra behind the plate. Bunt, third base side and foul. Monastra got the start behind the plate in the series opener, was not in the starting lineup last night. Home cooking not to his liking in recent weeks.
Long look down to Sean Allen.
Well, bunt's been on the first 2 pitches of the at-bat.
Grammons comes to the set. Ellis the runner at first. Inside. And the count now in his favor, 2-1. Talking with David Pierce prior to game 2 yesterday. Talked about his time with Eric Kennedy. Really likes Eric. Eric talked to the media Thursday, and Big 12 Conference Player of the Week, and what he wanted to talk about was the things he needs to work on. Down low, 3-1, and some of the reporters covering the media availability said, Eric is talking about this, and he goes, well, David Pierce said, well, that's what's going to make him a very good, if not great player, is the fact that he had 2 4-hit games, and he still wants to talk about the things, and the thing that he was touching on mostly was his defense in left field. He still needs things to work on and appreciates that.
That was a balk.
So Ellis will take second base.
He came set, started moving forward. Pitch is no pitch. You can see it right here. What's that left foot in the front?
Going back to Kennedy, that's for young players. That's intelligent for such a young player, and that's what you want to work on, your faults. I mean, anybody can go out and work on what they're good at, but once you can get control of things you're not good at, it makes you a more rounded player.
There's ball 4 to Eric Kennedy, a single and a walk, and positive start for the Longhorns.
Did a nice job of trying to bunt, pulling the bat back outside the zone. A little conversation on the mound right here. Texas would love to play with the lead right here, especially you got a guy that is a strikeout guy. I mean, he gets ahead of you, averaging more than a strikeout in an inning.
Fell behind last night. Xavier with a run in the first against Blair Henley. Got 1 more in the 4th. And Texas, 9 batters came to the plate in the 5th. And they plated 5. Austin Todd was not in the starting lineup last night. Hitting over 460 with runners in scoring position. That one to the backstop, and the runners will move up. Ellis to third base. And Eric Kennedy moving up behind him. He now stands at second. So Gramos not the start that he wanted. Wild pitch advancing the runners. A balk, a wild pitch so far in this inning.
Corners are up. Musketeers play the middle of the infield back.
Ground ball to short. This will score the runner. Given on to first base. Todd picks up the productive out. And the RBI is 27th on the season. And the Longhorns up 1-0. Now, would you be a stickler and say, okay, you got the runner from third, but you did not advance that runner from second?
His job right there was get the job done. He got that job done now. But on the backside of that, Musketeers and Gramos, he's got a chance to limit the damage here in the first to just one.
We fell behind Duke, got the 3-2 count, a hitter's count, and then walked Kennedy. Yeah, if he gets the ball over the plate with the fastball, he can do that.
Xavier takes a fastball for ball one.
Well, it does come out of his hand nice and easy. Just it's all about strikes.
Yeah.
Billy O'Connor, head coach, second season with the Musketeers, told us that Gramos very limited, estimated 75 or so innings for his entire career, from Little League through high school, now at the college level, and he's made one huge jump. If he makes another one, scouts are going to start looking at more as a pitcher than a hitter at the next level.
It'll be easier to get to the top level on the mound with that kind of arm.
Well, it starts at 95. Let's just
right.
Yeah, that's going to get somebody's attention.
Was the opening day starter back in February against North Carolina. Made 18 appearances last year, 45 strikeouts in 28 innings. Was drafted by the Orioles in the 35th round in 2018. One nothing Texas, home first inning. Fastball strike to Xavier. Ellis a leadoff single. Kennedy a walk. Wild pitch moving the runners up. Austin Todd picking up an RBI with a ground out. Kennedy now leads away from second base. You'd like to see a crooked number here. Still less than 2 outs.
Yeah.
Will Thornwell, who had the thumb last night for Billy O'Connor. Xavier head coach was ejected in the 5th inning, and Thornwell calling the balls and strikes for the series finale. Upstairs, ball 4, second walk of the inning.
It comes to a point when you do throw this hard, your bullpen can be more productive than anything. You go down there and play catch. Play catch on the mound. Try to hit the target every time. And as you progress.
And you don't have to do it at 100%.
No, as you progress doing that, now you can put a little more into it. Now you can start throwing harder. But you have to be able to do that, those strikes first when you throw that hard.
Ryan Reynolds with 2 on and 1 down. Switch hitter against the right-hander. And first pitch swinging sends one foul. Ryan has 3 hits in the series, 3 for 8, 3 runs batted in.
Yeah, big one yesterday, though. Opposite field double in that 5-run inning.
It was really a nice piece of hitting. RBI ground out, producing the first run of the game for the Longhorns here in the first, and looking for more. Kennedy, excellent speed, the lead runner at second. And 2 strikes the count on Ryan Reynolds.
You know, when you have velocity, Zeke, one of the things that you can get away with is pitches that are up. But you were talking about, take one step further than what you were talking about, playing catch in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Also working on getting the ball down.
Yeah, I mean, that comes first. I mean, to be able to hit your target and throw strikes at 90 or 92, now you put more velocity on it.
Up and away, a ball and 2 strikes. Talk with Billy O'Connor. And we often talk about, and you can talk to this, Keith, football mentality in a baseball uniform. Gramas is a 2-time state champion in wrestling. And on the mat, when you're in trouble, you want to work harder. You want to sort of go through that wall.
Well, it's an aggressive sport. I mean, in other words, you know, baseball is not. It's cerebral. Yes, it's still physical in the sense of delivering the ball, but you know, you can't go down and hit somebody. You know, I always said you go down on the opening kickoff, make a good blow against somebody else. It relaxes. All right, now you're just playing the game. In baseball, you can't do. There's no equivalent to that. I mean, it's so cerebral. It gets in your mind, especially as a pitcher.
Well, I always use the Greg Maddux quote that most pitchers, when they get in trouble, they try to throw harder. Greg Maddux, when he got in trouble, which wasn't too often, he just tried to pinpoint better.
Control.
Yeah.
Zuby at first, Kennedy at second. Good breaking pitch there for a called strike 3.
Well, that's going to freeze. You haven't seen one, right? Hadn't thrown one in 19 pitches. And all of a sudden, it's going to buckle you just like that, left or right.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
I mean, it's going to buckle you.
You're looking for 95, and the slider, and that pitch right there is going to make him an excellent pitcher at the next level when you're throwing as hard as you do. If you can get that pitch over, now you don't have to get it over for a strike. You've shown you can throw it for a strike. Now hitters have to be conscious. He can get that one in here too.
If he throws me that one, I'm going to buckle.
Yeah.
Lance Ford stands in with 2 on and now 2 down. Lance 1 base hit, over 8 at bats in this series, has struck out 3 times.
He's not getting much up. This is not a big zone. But that's going to be that way for both sides. It's just not a big strike zone right now.
1 for 6 first pitch strikes, the first 6 hitters.
Lance Ford, 1 of 4 freshmen in the starting lineup at Coy Cobb for David Pierce on the hill to start, and 5 total in the series finale against the Musketeers. Had a different lineup in each of the 3 games.
A non-conference series right before you start this stretch. I mean, obviously Texas A&M comes in on Tuesday. It's sold out. This place will be hopping, and then you make the trip 100 miles up the road to Waco to play Baylor next weekend.
Walked him on 4 straight pitches, 3rd walk of the inning, and that one loads up the bases.
Well, it is also cardiovascular. It's not a bad time yet. I would think you're going to make a visit. As a catcher, I would go to the mound, even if my pitching coach is not coming right here, Greg, because you get out, you throw that hard, you've thrown 27 pitches in the inning. You know, it's one of those things where, all right, let's just give him a blow for a second.
Yeah, I think you saw he got the breaking ball over the plate. That's a lot of times when you're up with your fastball, you go to that breaking ball because you have to extend.
Reach out.
You have to reach out. Now, it usually will bring your fastball back down in the zone as well.
Brian Furlong, pitching coach in his first year with Xavier. Had 3 years on the staff at Creighton. Billy O'Connor said that when he had an opening, he got a lot of phone calls, and Brian Furlong expressed interest. And with all the movement with head coaches and coaching staffs in recent years around college baseball, the number, I think, is 30 plus in terms of head coaches at the Division I level each of the last couple of years. David Pierce now in his 3rd year, his staff intact. Longhorns 3 for 14 as a team with the bases loaded. Peter is 1 for 1. That's the number for Caston Peter. He's got 2 home runs.
Texas can take advantage of this first inning.
Yeah,
30 pitches, 19 have been out of the zone.
I think you got to take one here, 2-0. Boy, you work to get these counts. I think that's a good take.
Yeah.
Caston came in the game late, had a base hit off the bench Friday night.
Now he's underneath it. His mechanics have really not as sound as they were earlier in the game.
The 3-1 to Caston Peter is a strike and a full count. Up above 30 pitches in his first inning in the series finale. Texas up 1-0, looking for more. Line drive, well hit but foul down the left field line, making it up onto the concourse.
Let's go ahead and get the barrel out on 95.
Why not?
He was not fooled. And if you're Eric Kennedy, you see that, even though the guy's throwing 95, I'm taking my run from third base.
Around Sean Allen.
Yeah, I am going way over here out of the way.
Let's see if he might go to that breaking ball. Be a good time if you can get it close.
Well, you got it's going to buckle you.
Yeah.
Monastra again sending out the signs. Runners go, 3-2, ball 4. And that'll bring the runner Kennedy in from third, and Texas up 2-0. Fourth walk of the inning.
Well, had 23 coming in 27 innings. So now with 27 walks in 27 2/3 innings.
Tate Shaw, number 8 hitter in the lineup for the Longhorns, stands in. Here's Shaw. You've seen the fastball 93 to 96. You've seen Reynolds take a called strike 3 on the slider. What's your mindset right now?
I'm going to make him throw a strike.
Falls behind 2-0.
And you get one close, or you might think it's a high strike. You're aiming the ball. He's just aiming the ball, hoping it's a strike right now.
Pops a mid.
Activity now in the Musketeer bullpen.
They have not used a lot of relievers in this series. Flam was extended on Friday. Ball 4 to Tate Shaw. 5th walk of the inning for Grammis, his 3rd in a row. And Zubia will trot down from third. It's 3-0.
The first 8 hitters, there have been 6 3-ball counts. So that's,
Yeah, you know,
all the walks.
and we're seeing it, Greg, pretty regular all through college baseball. You know, if there is something that could be changed, it's got to get guys that have more command.
It starts when you work on the side.
Yeah.
Bryce Regan, 9th batter in the lineup, takes a strike. It's 0-1. Bryce getting the start at shortstop. Entered as a pinch runner, scored the tying run on a single by Ellis in the 10th inning on Friday night. Down in the count, 0-2.
Because if he can get ahead of you, that is a wicked breaking ball.
That was a big curveball right there.
40 pitches and facing his 9th hitter of the inning. Called strike 3, side retired. Damage done. 3 runs across. Texas takes a 3-0 lead to the 2nd here in Austin.
The eyes of
Be prepared and bundle up. That's the way the fans here at the Dish over the last couple of days have been, with the wind blowing in from left field. Last night again today. Hats, winter hats. Everyone in the dugout, there was a consensus. We thought this was behind us. And you guys thought the same thing. Not so.
Wait 5 minutes, because we're in Texas and it'll change. But it ain't going to change
Anytime soon.
That gentleman had to go to his car, get the jacket. It's early, but a big 2nd inning for Coy Cobb after the offense provided 3 runs in the 1st inning.
Well, yeah, I mean, anytime your team scores you runs, but Cobb needing to get some length in this game, just not for himself, but for the pitching staff. And
Yeah, you know, I think for himself too. If you just look at his starts and what he's been able to do, I mean, you'd like to see him get in through 6 innings of work.
He's gone 7 once against Purdue.
Strikes out Shepsky. You highlighted Shepsky. Starting lineup of the first inning, 6 hits, 4 RBIs in the series. Second strikeout for Cobb.
That's an excellent straight change. We know Corey's got a good one, and he's got great motion with it. He's only gone past 5 in 1 start. Now, he was exceptional against Purdue. There's no doubt.
Hot shot past the diving shortstop Regan, and Monastra aboard with a 1-out single. Xavier had its share of base runners last night, at least 1 in 8 of 9 innings against Texas pitching, and they've got base runners in each of the first 2 innings against Coy Cobb this afternoon. And Luke Franzoni will stand in. Franzoni off the bench in the first 2 games of this series, getting his first start in the finale.
It's obvious Xavier's coming out swinging early in counts. If you make quality pitches early, you can get some quick outs.
Reagan to second, 1 back to first, safe. As Franzoni able to beat the throw from Ford. They get the lead runner, and Monastra retired.
The ball hit off the end of the bat to Regan, and then he couldn't get a good grip on it right there, just a little too long. Not enough on the throw.
Franzoni, a 2-out base runner. See the stretch from Tate Shaw. And Lane Flam will stand in. Flam took the loss Friday night. Went 4+ innings in relief. Freshman at the plate, still looking for his first base hit, 0 for 3. Playing his college baseball right in his hometown.
Right-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter.
Reynolds spins, fires, gets his man. Ryan Reynolds right in front of the shortstop Regan, making the play. No runs, 1 base hit. Coy Cobb getting a little help from his friends.
Well, just an outstanding play for Ryan Reynolds, realizing he's got to get rid of it in a hurry.
Hey, Fed. Connor Grammis threw over 40 pitches in the first inning, walked 5 and gave up 3 runs, walking 2 with the bases loaded. He's on the mound for the second. Treats, hats, jackets. Got the hot dog.
Blankets.
So your fall weather comes in the spring.
Yeah, because it's warm through almost December.
Right?
Yeah.
Duke Ellis, 1 for 1, single. And a run scored in the first inning.
Well, sometimes they get the gate open in North Texas and it comes down.
Opposite way, Major coming on, has to plate on a hop. We'll pick it up off the turf and fire back in. And Duke Ellis 2 for 2.
Never looked at Duke in his 2 years here, Greg, as a streaky guy, but he's on a really good streak right now. Taking good swings, getting on top of the ball. You know, early, or let's say 10 games ago, he was underneath a lot of stuff. Wasn't getting on top of it. Now he's getting on top of that fastball.
A little bigger swing. Now he's a little more compact. He was able to get to that high inside fastball and take it the other way.
8th multi-hit game of the season.
Hey, that's not fun.
Watch your lips.
Eric Kennedy walked and scored in the first. The table setters getting on base. Ellis had the only hit in the first inning. 5 walks from Grammis. Good pick at first by Workington. Terrific bunt, Grammis to first base, sacrifice successful, and Ellis moves to second.
I got to tell you, folks, that was an outstanding play. You got to have really good athleticism. That was almost a perfect bunt that time. How about the arm strength he throwing that ball to first base?
Yeah, it's almost deadened in front of the plate. He got to it, barehanded it, slipped. His right foot slipped out from under him and made a strong throw. Using that 95-mile-an-hour fastball to throw it to first.
Boy, I tell you what. I didn't think there was any way they were going to get an out there.
Ellis at second, one down. Austin Todd. RBI ground out in the first, now hitless in his last 10 at-bats, but a productive out in the first inning. And takes away ball one with a fastball.
There's that old term. Guys, you don't get beat with your secondary pitch, but I think first pitch breaking ball wouldn't be a bad call for him some. He would have to shake me as if I'm catching him. I'm going to call that occasionally, especially to a right-handed hitter, just to make him get out in front with his arm. That way he's not underneath with the fastball.
You have to prove you can get that fastball over
Yeah.
first a little bit.
See Monastra going through the signs. Two ball, one strike count on Austin Todd.
Now just 3 of 12 first pitch strikes in this game for Gramus.
Todd skies one in the air, right center field. Franzoni going back, makes a catch. Ellis will tag and cross from second to third, and he now stands at third with 2 away.
But put a charge in that, but wrong day.
Wrong day again.
Were coaches and pitching coaches fixated on first pitch strikes when you were coming through?
Yeah. Not as much now, but I mean, it's part of the game where if you get ahead of hitters, the average goes down drastically when the count's 0-1.
What's the best pitch in baseball?
Strike one.
Strike?
Strike
Sorry,
one.
a strike.
Strike one. He hit it right on this. Strike one. From that point on, as a hitter, I can tell you now, I'm already changed my plan at the first pitch as a strike.
Zubia walked and scored in the first inning. Texas up 3-0. Zubia trying to get that runner in from third with 2 outs here in the second. And Gramus, after he picked up the called strike 3 on Reynolds, was 1 out away from limiting the damage, but then he walked 3 in a row. Ended up leaving the bases loaded.
If you can get that anywhere close, it just right now, it comes out of his hand a ball, the breaking ball.
That's low and not around the plate.
Full count, 3-2. You mentioned that, and we're stressing that last night, starting that breaking ball in the zone at thigh high.
You got to make it look out of your hand like it's going to be a strike.
Runner at third, 2 away. Up over 50 pitches and misses upstairs for ball 4. Zubia aboard for the second time with a free pass.
6th walk of the game, in the inning and 2/3.
Entered with 5 in each of his previous 2 starts, so 16 total. And Ryan Reynolds, a strikeout victim in his first at bat, will stand in. Depending on how this at bat shakes out, but if he's down in the count, you try to steal a run, swing and a miss. 0-1 the count.
Well, you don't have a lot of speed at first base in Zubia. Now, you've got excellent speed in Ellis at first. I think you let the inning play out right now.
Ryan now 8 extra base hits on the season to go along with 16 runs batted in. Ramos deals, and he's ahead in the count, 0-2.
This weekend, Xavier pitching Friday and Saturday, 19 innings of work, 6 walks. Today, an inning and 2/3, 6 walks.
On the ground, Altenberger to his left, settles his feet, throws onto first base, and the inning is over. 2 left on, 3-0 Texas going to the 3rd.
So, Ship, man, what do you think?
My mind's blown.
This is baseball on Longhorn Network. It's brought to you by Whataburger, the one-of-a-kind honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich, served hot and fresh, only at Whataburger.
Coy Cobb goes to work. And Darcy, a leadoff base runner. Cody Darcy, his first plate appearance of the series, and he's on at first base. Plunked. And Xavier now with a base runner in each of the first 3 innings. Back to the top for Chris Given, who walked to open up the game. Runner goes, throw to second, over everybody into center field. Darcy gets up, but he'll stay there. And he picks up the stolen base. Take a look at how the inning got underway.
Ball just ran in.
Right off the back of the helmet. Didn't even flinch.
Stole the bag right after that, didn't he?
Took second, yeah.
You're going to hit me, I'm going to cost you 2.
Given towards shortstop. Regan with the runner advancing in front of him. Throw to first. Nice pick on the other end by Shaw.
Look at Tater over there picking it. I like how he stayed down. Stretched out there and kept that glove down on the ground.
Lower you get,
yes,
the better you're going to see it.
He's learning.
Good read there by Darcy. Ball hit in front of him.
He had a chance to get an out at third. There's no question about that. But
Altenberger.
Also, if you're Regan in that scenario, I'm going to get an out. If I go to third and something happens there, I got first and third, nobody out, let them right back in the game. Instead, take the out when you can get the out.
Late on the fastball, 0-2 on Ryan Altenberger. In the lineup, playing second base in all 3 games of this series. This will plate the runner from third. Regan on to first base. Scoring from third is Darcy. Xavier on the board against Cobb here in the 3rd. And Altenberger picks up the RBI.
Well, the hit batter, stolen base, get him over, get him in. And some of the things the Musketeers have done pretty well, guys, is they've taken advantage of what opportunities they've had in this series.
They said they're not going to play much small ball, but they will run the bases, and paid off for them in this inning.
Aubrey Major takes ball 1. Major struck out swinging in the first against Coy Cobb.
That's that changeup again. He has not made an adjustment to it. He's going to see some more of them.
All weekend he hasn't.
Major stepped away. Pitches a ball.
It's a pretty good pitch.
You saw Peter maybe just right there. He was actually glancing towards the home plate umpire, Will Thornwell.
Did not award him time, but the pitch was a ball.
Yeah.
2-2. So what's the adjustment?
Got to see it first. he's not seeing. He's seeing fastball out of his hand, not making an adjustment. I mean, I would go up there looking for the changeup. Now
he's going to get one here, 3-2.
Yeah. Throwing the heater.
Lost him, and a 2-out base runner.
He had to shake to get to that eater. Major recuperating from a hamstring injury. We've only seen it one time in this series. You and I both noticed it last night, where there was one time where he could really feel it on a ball he hit into, where he was thinking about maybe going for 2.
I was late in the game last night. Workington. Did he hold? They will appeal. He did.
A little bit different wind change. Zeke all of a sudden now more from left, maybe helping something going to right now.
Hit it over in that alley just left of the light pole out there and right, and it'll float into the pin.
And Workington, you touched on it throughout the series, likes to extend, and he does have that ability with power to go to the opposite field. He's got 4 home runs on the season.
He's a big man. He's got really good plate coverage. He can handle the ball and drive it the other way. Likes to get extended.
Rips one foul just outside of third. Got a pitch he could handle there. Turned on it.
A little 2-step. I guess that's called side jump.
Cobb comes to the set at the belt and falls behind 2-1.
He's gone to more off speed. The changeup, slider, got in him with the fastball, and that's the one he pulled foul. Good changeup right there.
When he goes backwards, he's had real good success. 2-1, that's a fastball count. Went to the changeup. Now you got a lot of choices here. You can climb the ladder, the fastball, or come right back with a changeup.
Hit hard past Reynolds and into left field. And Workington aboard with his first hit of the game. That sends Major to second. Now 2 on with 2 down.
Got to hit your spots, though. Came back with the changeup, but he left this ball up and out over the plate. It was the change, but when you leave it up.
Right decision as far as the changeup, but that's not the right location.
Shepsky's been good in this series. Big opportunity here.
Struck out in his first at bat. And 6 hits in the series to go along with 4 runs batted in. He's got the tying run on base in a 2-run ball game. Late on that offering from Coy Cobb. Is that another example of just not recognizing?
Well, look and change up. It looks identically the same. That's one thing Coy does real well. His changeup's got great deception.
Shepsky now a grad student. Grad transfer from Notre Dame. Has 1 year, 2019, in terms of eligibility with Xavier. Goes the opposite way. As a junior with Notre Dame, 56 games, 54 starts, had 3 home runs and 20 runs batted in.
Good time for that changeup right here. Gotta keep it down.
Picks up the strikeout to end the inning. His 3rd of the ball game. A run across for Xavier. Billy O'Connor joins us from the Musketeer dugout when we come back. Musketeer head coach Billy O'Connor joins us from the third base dugout. Grammis, the tough first inning, went back out there in the second, didn't give up a run, and he's keeping you in it.
He is. He's doing a good job. He's settling in a little bit. You know, I thought he looked a lot more comfortable in that second inning than he did in the first. So looking for him to really settle in again in the third, pound the zone with his stuff.
Because you talk about not trying to create small ball, but you got Darcy on, you get the stolen base, and you get him in with a couple of ground balls, trying to create something right there by getting him.
Yeah, that was good. You know, situational stuff. And that's what you got to do. You got to take advantage of the opportunities. We talk about that a lot offensively. That you only get so many opportunities each game, especially against a good staff that's as good as Texas is. You know, when you get a guy at second with no outs, that you got to convert that into a run at a high rate. And that was good to see us. You know, especially Ryan Altenberger with 2 strikes there, put the ball in play and cash the run in.
You've talked about it with us. We've talked about it in the booth over the course of the 2+ games now. Chris Given, your shortstop, is a joy to watch out there. Any ball hit to him, it's a 6-3, it seems.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you seeing that. You know, that's we're very lucky to get a chance to watch him on a daily basis, and I think he's one of the premier shortstops defensively and really the whole package too across the country. You know, he's it's one of those things that when the ball's hit in his direction, you start writing down the out number in your scorebook already. So he's pretty consistent. He's a heck of a player.
Really appreciate taking all the time with us this weekend. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Billy O'Connor joining us from the Xavier dugout. Last night had the headset on, Greg, and had to immediately take it off. And he put the headset to Henry Miller because he had to go check on Lanu, his starting pitcher. He had a little bleeding on his index finger on the knuckle and came back and then talked with us. And Henry was great. Had no idea what he was getting himself into, but handled himself well.
Like, here, take this.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, put a Band-Aid on top of it, but you're absolutely right about Gibbon. He has just been spectacular in this series. Made one of the best plays I've seen a collegiate player make last night, trying to get an out on a wild pitch throw from his catcher. Got his body in such great position to go back and make a tag to fall backwards. It was really unique. Great body control.
Lance Ford walked in the first inning, 1 of 5 issued by Grammis. And here we go, a 3-2 count to the leadoff hitter. Well above 100 pitches last Sunday against Evansville and what turned out to be a loss in the series finale for the Musketeers. Upstairs, no leadoff base runner. Another walk, his 7th issued so far in the ballgame.
Just really difficult. Sometimes on a cold day to play defense, do everything, when it seems like nothing's put in play. But you look up, when you're a defender, there's base runners everywhere.
7 walks, 2 hits, but only 3 runs. You would think there would be a few more across.
Caston Peter walked, left stranded at second in the first inning. His second plate appearance. And misses away with a fastball. It's 1-0. Caston continues to hit. Is that going to force David Pierce to get the bat in the lineup a little bit more, or at least have him late in ball games and pinch hit opportunities?
Well, that and you know, you very well may see some more of him during the weekend, getting some starts at certain times. Working extremely hard with Philip Miller on his receiving skills and the things that he does behind the plate.
Swings and skies one of the air, short left field. Major coming in, still coming in, makes a catch eye level. DJ Podrinsky back with the team. Had labrum surgery recently. Was in the dugout Friday night. Good to see David Hamilton with the boot off and still favoring that foot a little bit, but slow and steady with the progress.
Yeah, that's a long process.
Yeah.
It's a cold one today.
Like many here, bundled up. Tate Shaw walked in the first inning. 7 walks now issued by Connor Grammis. Hit him. 8th batter that he has hit this year, And that puts runners at first and second with one down.
See what, that got him on the elbow, which it looked like it might have. He tried to protect himself by putting his arm down there instead of taking it on the hip right here. He puts his arm right in there and got him right on either the forearm or the elbow.
That'd be much better on the hip.
Yes.
You guys have seen on social media at bats across the country in college baseball, guys getting hit and not being awarded first base. Where do you stand on it, and does it need to be fixed and addressed?
The only thing I have is I don't think you should be able to lean into the pitch with body armor on and be awarded first base. I mean, all these kids, now Tate did not have any armor on that time, but a lot of these kids come to the plate with protection on that left elbow.
Bet he does next time.
I bet he does too. I just don't think you should be able to lean into the pitch and be awarded the base.
So I told Keith last night, Omaha 1984, the game against Cal State Fullerton. Fullerton wins. But there was an at-bat. I've seen bits and pieces of you pitching in that championship game.
On YouTube, he said.
On YouTube, by the way. The full game is there.
I've seen it.
And Dennis Cook had a plate appearance late. It was in the ninth inning trying to get on base as the tying run.
Oh, yeah.
He had one where exactly what you're talking about. Have you seen that one? You remember that one?
He would jump in front of it if he had to.
I shared that with Mike Rooney. I'm like, you have to see this because it's present day. If it's like that, you're not going to be awarded first base, and I'm straight across the plate.
And if it's a strike, you're out. Game over. We've had a game end that way here at UFC Disch-Falk Field.
Regan, a strikeout victim in his first at bat against Connor Grammis.
He's thinking up there right now. A little too much. Instead of seeing the ball, he's thinking about that breaking ball.
For the lead runner at second, up and away, 2-2. Last time in, talk with Bryce a little bit from New Hampshire. His father from the state of Connecticut. Grew up not that far away from where I live now.
But 63.
This is his kind of weather. There you go. Look at that. That hasn't happened too often this year. That's a temperature right now in
summertime in Amherst.
Beautiful Amherst. Swings through that off. Rain down on strikes for the second time today. So I let him know, your dad, I live in his home state, and told him I live near New Haven in the Connecticut area. And immediately, barbecue down here, yes, immediately brought up Pepe's Pizza. He's got relatives in the area still, and he's gone there every time he's down in that area, tries to get there.
I think this is a visit to whether or not he's okay.
We got a trainer coming out?
He went right to the home plate umpire and said,
we got a pitcher coming in from the bullpen.
We do.
So Grammis will be done after 2 2/3 innings. And we've got a pitching change. Sam Sabala on the hill for the Xavier Musketeers with 2 on and 2 out in the third when we return. Connor Grammis done after 2 2/3. Sam Sabala gets his first appearance of the series.
The left-hander comes into the ballgame. One of the things before Greg gets to the pitcher, also Grammis moves into the DH role. That was the conversation as you were going out. Say, hey, we're moving him, taking him out as a pitcher, but we're moving him into the DH role in the 8th spot in the order. So Grammis will remain in the game as the DH, and they go to the bullpen.
You see a 2-time all-academic for Zabala. A lefty, a fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, 4-pitch guy.
So he is on. Book open on Connor Grammis on the pitching side with 2 runners on base and 2 down. Walked the leadoff batter forward here in the third. Hit Shaw with 1 out, putting runners at first and second. Regan struck out. Billy O'Connor, Brian Furlong going to the pen for the first time. They've gotten length out of their relievers. got a lot of arms available in the bullpen for the series finale today. Duke Ellis, 2 base hits. 8 multi-hit games on the season now for Duke Ellis. A pair of singles in this one.
Third at bat in 3 innings for Ellis.
Zabala checks the runner. And behind 2 balls and no strikes. You mentioned the all academic accolades in the Big East. Billy O'Connor said yesterday when he was a player, if they got to 3-0 team GPA, they celebrated.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't often that they had those celebrations. But consistently, from being an assistant coach at Xavier to now the head coach in his 2nd year, they've been 3-2, 3-3 collectively.
Can I add 2 years together?
That's what I did with my SATs. Took them twice. I got over 1,000. Only supposed to combine the math and
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
the other part. Two outs, 2 on in a 2-run ball game. Zabala trying to put Duke Ellis away. Ellis trying to extend the inning. Given at shortstop. The toss, inning over. 2 left on, 3 complete from Austin. Longhorns on top 3-1 in the series finale.
The eyes
In Texas, we take this opportunity to go down and visit with head coach David Pierce. Coach, when you look at what your offense is done, they've been very patient, taking advantage, just haven't been able to get that big hit when they needed it at this point, really to separate themselves in the game.
Well, Gamis has such good stuff, but his control has been documented where he's had a tough time controlling the ball. So we just went in there looking for one spot, one zone, and it worked out for us. So we were able to just be patient and grab those 3 runs.
And what are you seeing out of Coy so far today?
You know, he's been fine. You know, he just lost his concentration, hit a guy, and then stolen base. But I think when he got a runner on 3rd base with 1 out and he had 2 strikes on the hitter, he had an opportunity to put him away, and that's something he's got to get better at right there. So he's been solid.
And the last thing I want to say is that when is spring coming? You have any idea?
I have no idea. This is a joke, man. I'm tired of being cold.
I hear you. Good luck the rest of the ball game,
All
Coach.
right, see you guys.
David Pierce joining us from the Longhorn dugout. Well said. I'll tell you, they have the heat source top of the dugout in there.
It makes a difference.
Really does. Had the blowers yesterday or last night.
They got the ones on the little roof of the dugout, and they also brought the blowers in. So they got it all working.
Monastra aboard. 10th time in this series. They've had the leadoff man on. 2nd time. Make it the 3rd time in this ball game against Coy Cobb. Luke Franzoni.
That had some steam on it coming back up here.
Yeah, and Dustin McComb was sitting over here, didn't even flinch. Kept typing, didn't even flinch.
Yeah, it was no big deal. He's got a window in front of him. He's in a short sleeve shirt.
Well, it's warmer over there than it is over here.
Okay.
Many a computer has been lost in the press box on foul ball, spring training, big league ballparks. I think it was Ken Rosenthal lost his computer on a foul ball at Camden Yards off the bat of Cal Ripken.
I would have might have kept that computer.
Or made Cal buy a new one.
Do you get him up here?
We haven't had one in here. We did have one that hit the window right above us in the LSU series, but that's the closest it's been.
With Ben McDonald?
Yes.
Anybody dive?
He was.
Reynolds on the run, gets his man at first base. Monastra moves to 2nd. Franzoni retired, 5-3.
Yeah, we had one to go over the top, hit the top of the truck behind the stadium. If there's anybody better playing 3rd base in college baseball, it's hard to find. Ryan Reynolds does an excellent job. He works at it every day, but just right there. He knows when he's got to go barehanded. He knows when he can go with his glove. He's aware of the runner.
I think the good ones you see, you don't see panic. They make the play under control, and if you do that, you're more than likely going to make the play. And even if the guy's safe, you're still under control and not throwing it wild and doing your job.
And Grammas, as we mentioned, moved into the DH spots at the plate now.
His first at bat of the ball game. Trying to help his own cause, you can say. He is the tying run at the plate. 1 for 9 in the series.
Yeah, he's an awful good hitter. Texas has done a good job against him. Had him off balance. Did a nice job changing speeds on him last night.
So 7 walks and did not make it past the 3rd inning. But if you were writing a report right now and you had to turn it in, what would you write from the mound?
Watch.
Obviously,
live
arm.
Yeah, I got to watch.
Still raw. Now you get on a consistent basis in pro ball, minor league ball, and an arm like that, you can do a lot of things with.
You can, and that's why I said that, you know, right now, if he's being scouted, everybody's writing down, which is you got to watch because of the velocity, and then see if he improves. Not necessarily with the velocity, Steve, but with his ability to command.
If you can't command, it doesn't matter how hard you throw.
Cobb a peek towards second base. Buries that one. Grammas able to lay off. So signs with a big league club after his time at Xavier is done. Better to start him out on the mound, and then if it doesn't work out, you can put him into a position player role, or would you try to maybe do it? Is it easier to do it the opposite way?
I think it's easier to do it the opposite way. You've seen Trevor Hoffman was a shortstop. Troy Percival was a catcher.
Sure.
The big guy in L.A. Jensen was a catcher.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think you have a mindset, though, guys, when you draft a guy in today's world, what he's going to be. And for me, I'm not sure he's a draftable player at this point offensively as much as he is a draftable player as a guy that can throw 95 to 100.
Yeah,
and he only has, doesn't have a huge experience on the mound. If you're going to take a shot with him, I'm going to see if he can do this first.
Darcy hit by a pitch, scored Xavier's run in the last inning.
But we're saying it would be more difficult, though, to try that for 4 years.
Yeah.
And it not work, and then now you got to go back to A-ball and play first base or right field and try to be a hitter when you haven't hit in 4 or 5 years.
Xavier has really struggled in this series with runners in scoring position. Darcy, freshman, over his last 9 games, 2 base hits and 25 at bats. Lines one to left field. Kennedy comes on, takes it on a line, side retired. Monastra left at second, 3.5 of the books, 3-1 Longhorns. Texas up 3-1, looking for the series sweep against the Xavier Musketeers out of the Big East. Longhorns sweep of LSU already on the resume this year. Xavier has been swept by North Carolina and Arizona State. We've touched on throughout the course of the series. Both these schools not shying away from strong competition early on in the year.
Well, Coach O'Connor talked about that. Our conference, we only have 18 conference games, so you're going to find out and try to get better early in the year, and they have definitely traveled and gotten situations in Texas. I don't know that there's a more difficult schedule in the month of March anywhere in the country. In fact, I know there's not.
You look at that strength of schedule and you wonder how are they as low as they are?
It's just
when the teams they played were all top 10.
Kennedy walked and scored in the first, dropped down a sacrifice bunt, was retired in a nice play by Grammas in the second inning. Swings and sends one in the air to center field. Franzoni barely having to move. One down.
Starting to get a little sun breaking out, and we've gotten to 50 degrees.
50. There it
it's
is.
50.
65 in Amherst, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Kennedy back to the dugout. Austin Todd 0 for 2. RBI ground out in the first inning. Longhorns sent 9 batters to the plate. Gramis walked 5 in the inning, including 3 in a row with 2 outs.
Cold front came through Amherst the last 30 minutes. It's 56 now.
Okay.
Raining. It got there. Austin got such a great start in the month of February. He was just outstanding. It's been a struggle a little bit this month trying to get that feel back. And when you play every day, there's going to be some struggles at certain times of the year. You got to push through those. Keep your, especially on the mental side.
20 RBIs over the first 13 games. Now 27 on the season total. And he's a 1-out base runner. 8 walks for Xavier pitching, 7 from the starter Connor Gramis. Sam Zabala came on, got the final out in the 3rd inning. And Zach Zubia, who has walked twice in the ball game so far, will stand in. Zubia walked and scored in the 1st. Momentum is a finicky thing, but you sweep this series. Do you take any of that into Tuesday night and what's going to be a sellout crowd here at the Dish against Texas A&M?
It wouldn't matter if Texas swept or A&M swept. There will be excitement on both clubs. You know, it's one of those things.
Yeah, you don't need
it is what it is.
You could have lost your last 10 going into it.
Have you called games from there before?
Oh yes.
Zubia with a runner at first. What do you think of the atmosphere overall?
It is spectacular. I mean, obviously, the renovations are outstanding. All across the SEC, they have done an outstanding job.
Did you happen to see Tom Hart and Mr. Peterson out at Stark Vegas this week?
I did not. I knew they were going to be in the outfield in one of the apartments.
It's pretty neat. That's a new setup. Zubia the count in his favor, facing Zabala for the first time today. On that pitch.
Got away with it. That was up and out of the plate and fouled it straight back.
With Gramis now out of the game for the Musketeers, the starters in the series for Xavier have gone just 14 2/3 innings, 12 hits. They've got 10 earned runs, walked 9, struck out 8.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure on your bullpen.
Well, at the center field, Franzoni backpedaling makes the grab, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. Zubia back to the dugout. Todd stays at first base, and Ryan Reynolds 0 for 2.
All you can do is hit it on the head of the bat sometimes. I mean, days, you look at it and go, well, what am I going to do? Hit it as hard as you can and see what happens.
Ryan struck out looking in the 1st, grounded to 2nd in his 2nd at bat. Austin Todd at first with 2 away, 5 stolen bases on the season. Longhorns coming from behind twice in extra innings on Friday night, down 2-0, 5 across in the 5th inning in last night's comeback win. Now 12 comeback wins on the season. They have not trailed in this game so far. towards first and foul.
That's one when you're coming off the bag, as a first baseman, you never anticipate that ball coming behind you, and you're coming off, especially with a right-handed hitter. All of a sudden, you come off the bag, and you try to put that right foot down to go back, and he fell right down on the ground. He wasn't going to be able to get back.
Runner goes, pitch up high, throw down to second, high throw, and Todd in there with a stolen base. He's now in scoring position, and a 6th stolen base on the season.
That's first movement on the lefty right there. As soon as he lifted his foot, he took off. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, you're trying to steal it whether he throws over to first or not.
Right.
So Reynolds now with a runner at second. 8 2-out RBIs on the year. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Damian Richard was solid in a starting role Friday night in the series opener. Griffin Lanou went last night for Xavier. Starter Gramis chased in the 3rd inning. "17 walks in the series for Xavier pitching to this point. Sharply hit, given it short. Tosses over to first. Reynolds retired, and so are the Longhorns here in the 4th inning. 4 in the books, 3-1 Texas.
Let's get some memorabilia.
There you go. Everything you could possibly want available down on the concourse.
You can even buy sweep socks there, even though uniforms should be worn down.
They got vetoed today.
They got vetoed.
Yep.
I like it.
What's the story there?
I think Coach Pearson and them came in when they had a chance to go for a sweep. They all wore they call them sweep socks, but actually you pull your pants up, so it shows the
right.
entire sock. But last year a couple times it didn't work, and I guess it was the sock's fault.
Oh yeah, it's always something.
And so they vetoed it a little bit last year. They did it once this year. It worked. Most of them.
No.
But today they seem to they going opposite. They're going all down.
All down with the pinstripe.
Yeah. Low socks, I guess you call that.
Yeah.
Leadoff hitter Chris Given starting things off here in the 5th inning. Just 1 base hit in the series. Has lost 25 points on that batting average since Friday night and the opener.
Well, he's been as good as advertised as a shortstop.
Bunts in the air, foul over towards the 3rd base dugout.
Greg, you're in a 3-1 ball game here. It's, you know, very much Musketeers very much in this game. Texas has not been able to find a way to separate themselves right here. For Cobb, he's still in. These are stressful pitches because of the score on the scoreboard.
Picks up the strikeout. 5th of the game. Coy Cobb has worked into the 5th inning. Best outing, longest outing against Purdue earlier this year.
Oh, there had some good depth to it. Change up on the outer half. We talked about the Xavier starters in this series. In comparison, the Texas starters now with 16 1/3 innings, giving up 16 hits, only 2 earned runs, and 8 walks and 14 strikeouts.
Tied a season high with the 14 strikeouts behind Mr. Elder on Friday night. Elder had 6 scoreless, left with a lead, took a no decision. Longhorns won the opener in 12. Bryce's spot when he's not making the Friday night start.
Yeah, we've talked an awful lot, and Greg has as well, about how he feels so much more comfortable knowing what his week is going to be like, how he has to prepare himself for each day and what his routine is.
Interesting. Talking to him Thursday, the routine starts yesterday after making the start Friday night. But he said they don't, he and Phil Haig don't go over the opposing hitters until game day. Another strikeout, 2 in the inning, 6 in the ball game for Coy Cobb. I thought that might have been something earlier in the week.
Well, sometimes it's overkill, I guess, if you do it too much. But you do it before the game, now it's fresh in your mind. Now you've seen these guys, you come out here, you see what they look like on the field. So yeah, it stays fresh in your mind. At the next level, that you don't.
Well, you usually play a Tuesday game, so staff hadn't had time to put together a real scouting report on a game plan until, you know, the Wednesday and Thursday leading up to the Friday night start.
I mean, they might have you in there watching some video and doing stuff, but you don't really go over the full report until an hour or two before you hit the mound.
Aubrey Major may not want to see another changeup for the remainder of the season. He's seen a steady diet in this series. Singles into center field, keeps the inning alive. His first hit of the ball game. Aboard for the second time against Coy Cobb and a 2-out base runner. And talk about the separation. Anytime they get a base runner on, that allows them to bring the tying run to the plate.
Just haven't been able to separate in the game. Very much in this ball game to this point.
Texas have opportunities with all the walks and still with just 2 hits, but a lot of base runners.
Here's a guy who can tie this thing up at once. Wind not near as strong as it was at the beginning of the game. Still blowing in.
Workington, a base hit, 2 at bats. Eric Kennedy battling the high sky, gives way to Duke Ellis, and that will retire the side. They'll talk about that one as they head back to the first base dugout. 3-1 Longhorns in the series finale. Well, after baseball is over today from the Dish, stick around on LHN this afternoon for Texas men's tennis. The Longhorns welcome the Baylor Bears to Austin as coverage begins at 3:30 Central. Tennis on the Longhorn Network and also available on the ESPN app. Steve Lennox, Keith Moreland, Greg Swindell, series finale. Hat on backwards, sweatshirt on. Tell you what, they might
not cold. He's not cold.
Soaking in the.
Got eye black on too. He's ready to rock.
Yeah, he's ready, right? He's got the dance going. Feels a little warmer here as we go to the home 5th inning. Lance Ford will start things off for the Longhorns against Sam Zabala. Zabala worked out around a 1-out walk in the last inning. His second full inning in relief. Got the final out in the 3rd. Below the knees for ball 1. Lance Ford has walked in both plate appearances so far. Ford, Peter, and Shaw due up here for David Pierce and the Longhorns. '31st game of the season. Given gets rid of it in a hurry. On to first base, retiring Ford. And that is 1 out. Flawless.
He is just so smooth. Going to his right here, understanding the left-hand hitter and speed. Doesn't take much time. Finds his target. He has just been spectacular in this series.
Helps a lot of times when you have a 6'6" first baseman over there too.
Oh, it does. There's no doubt about that. But
Caston Peter 0 for 1, walked with the bases loaded, picked up an RBI in the 1st inning. Over the last couple of years, is there a shortstop defensively that you could compare him to?
Yeah, David Hamilton.
Okay. There you go.
He's not here.
Teed that one up. Base is empty and 1 down here in the home 5th inning. Draft comes June. David, we talked about him earlier. What's sort of the progression now, do you think? I mean, he's not going to be able to work out. I mean, he'll get closer and closer as the draft approaches in June. to where he's able to do some activity coming back from the Achilles injury in January. But how do you see things unfolding?
You know, that's a really difficult question to answer. I am positive that there's a lot of teams that have seen a whole lot of David and what they think he's capable of. He really made a huge stride, and Greg can answer this too, but I thought his stride was offensively last year as a sophomore. So
started to hit for a little power.
Yeah, showing that he's got some pop. Everybody knows he can really run, so that's one thing that he has. And so that'll be an interesting, it's a tough answer for me to see what way they want to go. I mean, he may have answered that in his mind already, that he is coming back and play his senior year. He may wait and see what's happening, and if that's wait and see what happens, could be a scenario where teams could take a real look at him.
Workington takes care of it. Peter retired, 2 away. 4 in a row set aside by Sam Zabala. Tate Shaw walked with the bases loaded in the first, hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. Looking for any protective armor on the elbow. Nothing looks coming up there. Tough. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but I think the way you played it out, those are the scenarios that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a scenario where a lot of different things could happen.
Major angling over towards the line, reaches over, makes a catch in foul territory. And for the first time today, Longhorns go in order. On to the 6th we go in a 3-1 ball game.
The
Cobb's best start of the season, February 23rd, went 7 shutout against Purdue. He's trying to match that today, doing very well on the mound. He's been around the plate just enough with the fastball to set up his really, really good changeup this afternoon. 6 strikeouts, 5 have been on that changeup, 1 with the fastball.
Jake Shepsky 0 for 2. He has struck out twice against Coy Cobb. The 6 strikeouts, a career high. Broadcasting in the minor leagues, managers, pitching coaches talk to them after a guy would have a strong outing. Saw Zach Greinke in 2 years in the minor leagues coming through the Royal system, and fly ball to left field. Kennedy battling the high sky and can't make the catch. Ball falls in, and the throw comes back into the infield, and Shepsky at second, leadoff hitter with nobody out.
We were just talking about that fly ball that ended the last inning. That's why Duke Ellis came over, because he's not looking directly up into the sun like Eric is right there.
Yeah, and he had his glasses on. He did everything he could do. He just couldn't find it, trying to shield his eyes. And I tell you, that's a helpless feeling. As an outfielder, did it a long time. You're right there. You know you're in the position to make the play. Just can't see it.
Monastra, 2 base hits, 2 singles. So when a guy would have a good outing in the minors, they would compare it and say, okay, was that one pitch that was effective on that particular start a pitch that could get big league hitters out? Does Coy Cobb have the makings of a plus changeup to get hitters out at the next level? And obviously just in his first year here on the 40 acres.
Oh, sure he does. I mean, he's still has room to grow. He's get stronger. The fastball can get a little firmer, but he needs more command of the off-speed. He's thrown 2 good ones right here of his off-speed pitch, but also more command of that fastball. That's why his changeup's been so good today, because he's been more around the plate with the fastball.
Hitting, say it all the time, is rhythm and timing, and if you can disrupt it with the same motion, it's a successful pitch.
Buries that one.
A nice job by Caston Peter to keep that ball in front.
Shepsky at second, fly ball to left field, misplayed by Eric Kennedy. Xavier again today in the series finale struggles with runners in scoring position. 0 for 5 today, 4 for 29 in the series. They appeal, and he held up, says the first base umpire, Darren Steers.
You know what? pretty good call right there. I did not see the barrel cross the plate. He got to the plate but didn't cross the plate.
Vitaly Monastir starting behind the plate for the second time in this series. Got inside, pop up, Ellis coming in, can't make the play, and it gets away from Ford. Shepsky to third, ball misplayed again, and Monastir into second and third with nobody out. For the Musketeers. And it should be 2 outs, bases empty. Ellis, Ford, and you'll see Ford again here.
Just looked up. Nobody at second base.
That's what I was thinking. That's one that Tate Shaw, as a first baseman, you can be the trailer in that position. You follow the runner to second base. I'm going to give him a single and an E4.
Luke Franzoni 0 for 2 at the plate.
As a pitcher in that situation, you see the ball drop. Your job is to come back up third or home.
Yeah, you got to come in between, don't you?
Yes.
An activity starting for the first time in the Texas bullpen.
Owen Meany on the right and Mason Bryant on the left.
1 ball, 2 strike count. We have seen Mason Bryant up
a couple of times this weekend. Yeah,
has yet to make an appearance. Whalen and Bokey last night. Gets away. Here comes a runner. Now they might have a caught up situation. Throw back to third. No. Reynolds back to the runner behind him. And Xavier very fortunate they did not run into an out there because Monastir was right up the back of the lead runner.
Someone has to communicate right here. He had a shot at third, but look where the runner is from second base. He's almost to third. He throws on the brakes right there. But all Ryan has to do, or Caston, just look at the runner at second.
E7, E4 so far in this inning. Now 4 errors in the series for the Longhorns. 2 charged to Lance Ford at second base. He had 1 last night. Cobb comes back, picks up the strikeout, 1 out in the inning.
A little angry on that fastball. Perfect location. Look where Caston Peters set up. Right to the mitt, downhill.
I'll take care of it myself. Is that what you're saying?
That's what we talked about earlier. Sometimes you have to.
I'll take care of this myself.
Connor Grammis 0 for 1. Starting pitcher in the DH role and the number 8 spot in the lineup.
Yeah, usually hits third in the lineup. So this is a good offensive player. Phil Heck's going to go out and talk to his young right-hander. You know, Texas defensively, it really started out very sloppy. But over this month, they've really played really good defense. Now, say that they have 4 errors in this series and 8 in their last 13 games, but they've gotten much better defensively. Had 32 in the errors early in the year.
They've led the Big 12 the last 2 years. All the way down to 8th this year.
So Franzoni a strikeout victim. Grammis at the plate. And Grammis asked for time as Cobb was just about to go into the windup. Average dipping below 300. One ball, 1 strike count. If you had gotten 2-0, would they have flirted with just putting them on and go after the number 9 hitter?
You know, it's really hard for me to put the go-ahead run, just give them first base.
One ball, 2 strike count on Connor Grammis.
And now you got a chance for the strikeout right here.
Joe Boo, do it yourself.
Yep. Tried to paint that corner out there.
Big situation in the ball game. 6th inning. Tying run now at second. Towards third. Reynolds throws to first. Low throw handled by Tate Shaw. Shepsky scores from third. Grammis picks up the RBI with the ground out. 1-run ball game, and the tying run down 90 feet away.
A little bit throwing off the wrong foot that time for Reynolds. He had a little bit of an in-between hop that he was able to hold on to it. When he came up, he knew he had to get rid of it a little quicker than he wanted, but a nice pick on the other end by Shaw.
A couple of them today over there by Tate.
2 ground balls in this ball game, pardon me, resulting in runs, and we've seen that from Xavier in this series.
Taking advantage and scoring without the benefit of a base hit.
Quickly, 0-2.
Taking it yourself, Joe Boo, as you said. Do it right here. Tried to go for the strikeout, but let that. That's
Tried to force it.
yeah,
Tried to
that
force
was
the
a
breaking
really
ball.
hittable pitch.
He's been able to paint the outside corner with that fastball. Tried it right there.
I like the idea too.
Now you can try the fastball again or start the breaking ball off right there on the outer half.
Check swinging, went around, inning over. Xavier with a run. Coy Cobb able to limit the damage as his defense snake bitten here in the inning.
Well, Kennedy couldn't hold onto it, and Duke couldn't get there. Leads to a run.
Well, 1-run affairs over the first 2 games of the series. 3-2 lead for Texas going to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Grammis went 2 2/3. Zabala out of the pen going 2 1/3. And Xavier back to the pen here in the 6th.
Trey Schramm, Pingree Grove, Illinois, making his 10th appearance of the season. A 10 ERA. He is an academic All Big East in 2017. Mr. Schramm is a fastball cutter, changeup guy.
New pitcher for Xavier, pinch hitter for the Longhorns. 9-1-2 due up, and Mason Hibbler will pinch hit for Bryce Regan. Monastra, they take one of the errors away in the top of the inning. Monastra credited with a double instead of a single. So Shepsky reaching on the E7, scored on the ground out by Grammis. Mason Hibbler, Duke Ellis, Eric Kennedy, 9-1-2 due up. Mason, 2 base hits and 8 at bats over the course of the series. 1 for 3 with a walk last night. Schramm deals the 1-1 and misses above the belt. Longhorns 3 runs in the first inning, nothing else since. Grammis the starter, mentioned it, 2 2/3, 3 runs allowed, 7 walks. Get the leadoff man aboard here. Back to the top of the lineup. And a walk. They do just that. 9th walk of the game for Xavier pitching.
It's hard to win. You're given that many base runners.
You walk 9, you've hit 1, only 2 hits, and you're 1 run down.
They opened the season losing all 3 against North Carolina. In the series finale, they lost 14-3 and walked 16 total against the Tar Heels.
You saw that stat right there. Duke Ellis has the only 2 hits in the ball game for Texas.
Single in the first, single in the second, left stranded at third base in the 2nd inning.
Right man, right spot then, huh?
It's had a good series.
Continues to get on base at a high rate. Started today, .444 on base percentage. He walked 35 times last year. He's walked 33 times this season. And I don't know that he's necessarily cut down on the strikeouts. 34 this year, 55 total in 2018. So the walks are up. The strikeout number might be similar at the end of this season for Duke Ellis. Top 10 and on base. Hits one foul and stays alive at 0-2. (6-5) 12-inning victory for Texas on Friday. 6-5 win last night as they held on. Xavier left the tying run at third base in the 9th inning. Given will go to the bag at second, gets one, back to first, double play.
How about his awareness to go with the ability, not only his ability to play shortstop, but I really believe if he flips that ball, you're not going to get Ellis in the double play.
No.
He understands the speed, and he says the only chance for 2 is me to be ready to throw when I touch the bag, and he does just in time to get the 6-3 unassisted double play.
Leadoff walk erased. Trey Schramm now faces Eric Kennedy, who is 0 for 1. Walk, sacrifice, and David Pierce coming out of the dugout and starting up a conversation with Will Thornwell, the home plate umpire. Thornwell gave the thumb last night to Xavier head coach Billy O'Connor in the 5th inning with Texas at the plate.
And this is a conversation over the pitch before that Ellis, the 2-strike, 2nd strike pitch about being inside. And that's what that conversation is over. Now you can see that Hibbler went up to throw his left arm in the air, but I did not see the double play called automatic.
Right.
It was already turned.
But he did throw his arm up.
Schramm to Kennedy. Kennedy looking for his first hit of the ball game. And just one base hit so far in the series. That was a base hit last night after going 0 for 5 in the opener. Towards first base, Workington will take it to the bag and just does beat Kennedy, and that retires the side. 3-1 Longhorns after 6 here at the Dish. Popcorn and wash it down with an icy cold beverage.
Wrap up with a blanket today. Enjoy the sun. A little bit coming through.
That's an A+ effort right there. Coit Cobb goes to work here in the 7th inning. Top of the Xavier lineup. Given, Altenberger, and Major.
100th pitch of the day for Cobb.
Can you compare? And he's 1 inning away from matching his season high in innings in an outing, the 7 scoreless against Purdue back in February. Are there comparisons?
Yeah, there are very much comparisons. I think he had probably a little better command of his fastball against Purdue, but maybe not as good a change as he's had here today.
Yeah.
I like last inning, and you said, Pedro, go do it yourself. You know, got into a little bit of a jam. 2 fly balls that should have been taken care of. Monastra was changed to a double, but he didn't let up. Picked up 2 strikeouts, gave up the run. Gramas, RBI ground out, but able to limit the damage. Had 2nd and 3rd and nobody out.
Even though errors, as a pitcher, you look at, well, if they score, they're going to be unearned anyway. So, but you could see more concentration in Coy's eyes. Really looked like he wanted to take care of it himself, like you said.
Duke Ellis takes care of Chris Gibbon, who's really scuffled at the plate in this series. And Ryan Altenberger will stand in. 0 for 3, struck out against Cobb. In the 5th inning, Coy Cobb establishing a new career high, 8 strikeouts. Comebacker. 2 down.
2 quick outs. Now in this is when you end this thing. 105 pitches. Your day is outside of the window is closing. Get it done right here.
Elder went 6 scoreless in the opener. On Friday night, Blair Henley gave up 2 runs last night over 6 innings. Major to first base. Shaw in a foot race beats Major to the bag, and a 1-2-3 7th for Coy Cobb. Texas 3, Xavier 1.
The
Dish.
She is doing the Cotton Eye Joe.
Yes, she was.
Austin Todd, Zach Zubia, Ryan Reynolds, 3-4-5 due up. Bunt, 3rd base side. Darcy comes in on it, safe at first. And Todd, a leadoff base runner.
Perfectly placed. Really not much you're going to do with that. Ball was really deadened easily by the bag.
I wouldn't even have thrown it.
Yeah.
To first base. But a much needed base hit for Austin Todd.
Yeah. And only the 3rd hit of the game for Texas. They need to find a way to get something going here. Musketeers down to 6 outs offensively, but you'd like to have them chasing more than 1.
Zach Zubia 0 for 1 has walked twice. Grounds 1 to the right side. Altenberger works as a sacrifice, moves the runner along. Todd now in scoring position, less than 2 outs. And now it'll be up to Reynolds and Ford and Peter behind him. Ryan has struck out, grounded out twice.
You know, early in the year, this team was offensively was doing 2 things well, Greg. We talked about it quite often. They had slugging percentage and on-base percentage. When you add those together, it's called OPS, and it was very good.
Really good.
Struggling now on the slugging part of that. Still keeping their on-base percentage up pretty high, but struggling with that extra base hit.
And just 1 combined between the 4 games at Stanford and 3 at home 2 weekends ago against Texas Tech.
Sometimes it takes 3 singles to score. It's hard to get 3 singles in an inning a lot of times, or even 2 singles in a walk.
Did it Friday night early on, then didn't have another hit until later in the ball game.
And then did it later in the game with 3 straight singles. The one that Duke hit through the wall was given a single. That could have gone down as a double.
Outside for a ball. Yeah. Zubia played the Todd Pratt role, and he had let up before he got to second base, but Todd Pratt tackled Robin Ventura years ago with the Mets on a
walk-off single grand slam.
It could have been a grand slam in postseason play. I think Ventura had his jersey ripped off. That one's served into left field for a base hit. Major will play it on a hop. Todd goes to third and Reynolds at first. 2 hits in the inning.
Just filleted that one out there to left field. Went down and got it with one hand. That's a little fillet job.
Kept the barrel in the zone.
Little cross-court lob.
Yeah, his first base hit with a runner in scoring position today for Texas. They're 1 for 9.
Lance Ford has walked twice, 0 for 1. Grounded to short in his last at bat. Trey Schran, third pitcher used by Xavier in this ball game. A lot of options here for the Longhorns with just 1 down in the inning. And Ford takes a first pitch strike.
Don't like safety squeeze with a left-handed hitter as well as I do one with a right-handed hitter. But you could have that right here to try to get that run in for sure.
Keeps looking like Monastra's
thinking about runner. He's thinking Reynolds is going to run.
Like a half a pitch out. I mean, like he's jumping up like he wants a pitch out or maybe throw to third. Both times he's been a little jumpy back there.
Schramm at the set. They're anticipating something happening here. Again, he goes over to first.
Been a lot of attention to a guy's 0 for 2 in the stolen base department.
They could be trying to see if Lance Ford might sell something, but with a 1-1 count, and he hasn't even done anything yet.
Comes to the plate.
And then Ryan takes off.
And Reynolds is going on the hit and run.
Yep.
Back to the bag at first base. And now we'll have a visit to the mound by Brian Furlong, who will come out.
He's already pointed to the pin.
1-2 count. Going to go to the bullpen.
I think he's missed some signs out there. He's talking to Monastir right there, like talking about when he jumped up. And I think the pitcher right there missed a couple signs. They've had enough. We've got a new pitcher coming in. Taylor Williams will be coming in when we get back.
The start of
Trey Williams will come in the game for the Musketeers. 6-foot senior out of Castle Rock, Colorado. 12th appearance of the season. The area again, not where he likes it. Enjoys hunting in his free time. But
if you know where he's located, he's in a great part of the world to hunt.
3-pitch guy, 90 to 93. Got a good slider, pretty firm. Low 80s. Change up to go with it.
Fourth pitcher, Gramis, Zabala, Schramm, and now Williams. He inherits a 1-2 count against Lance Ford.
You're thinking about a strikeout when you bring a guy in that has this kind of stuff. He's got 14 Ks and 10 1/3 innings of work with a 1-2 count.
Austin Todd, a leadoff bunt base hit. Went second to third on a single to left field off the bat of Ryan Reynolds, who was at first. Swinging a foul tip. Williams last work Wednesday in a home loss against Wright State. Went 1 inning, gave up 2 earned runs on 3 hits, walked no one, struck out 1, and had 2 wild pitches.
Texas would take a wild pitch right now.
Up a run here in the 7th inning, trying to complete the series sweep.
Fan trying to get the ball down there almost fell out onto the field right there in the blue.
Had some help.
Where's Gus? They got it.
Ground ball up the middle into center field. Lance Ford delivers a runner from third. Longhorns add on and up 2 runs again.
Finally got one of them down where he could get the head to it. Did a nice job of just dropping the head of the bat. Right back through the box.
3 singles, scores a run.
I've heard that before. That is the theme, right?
It has been.
Aston Peter 0 for 2, walked with the bases loaded, picked up an RBI in the 1st inning. Texas with a run here in the 7th and looking for more. Williams misses inside and falls behind early in the count. His first appearance of this series. Bunt, and Peter may have taken that off the hand. Stays at home plate.
That hurt.
Had his fingers on the bat.
Oh, it hurt. Oh.
Yeah, you got to get that bat out on the fingertips.
Yep.
Instead of the fingers on the outside of the bat right there. Let's avoid that injury right there.
Oh. On a cold day. Yeah, he smashed it pretty good right there. We're going to have a pinch hitter.
On his throwing hand, almost appears as if it's swelling up already. So we've seen a pitching change during an at-bat. And now Peter, during his at-bat, will go to the first base dugout.
And the other part about this, we got to mention now, if he's down for any extended period of time, Texas is down to one guy that's listed as a catcher.
Takes a seat in the dugout. And Longhorns were facing that during the Stanford series when McCann was not available.
Sam Bertelson, I think, is going to come out for the pinch hit.
So a 1-1 count.
So Bertelson will come to the plate as a pinch hitter for the 2nd time in this series. 1 for 1 with a pinch hit single in the 10th inning on Friday night. Got the start last night and went 1 for 3 with a run scored. Comes to the plate with a 1-1 count. Williams facing his 2nd hitter since coming on for Trey Schrem. Inherited a count against Ford and served up a single. Two hits over the first 6 innings, 3 singles here in the 7th. A run across and looking for more for the Longhorns. Williams ready to deliver. And there's ball 4, and that loads up the bases. 10th walk of the game for Xavier pitching.
Well, now is when those walks start to add up. One big base hit right here separates the game big time.
Yes, it does.
Monastra out to the mound. Workington will come over and join the conversation.
Well, I think he's out right here to give his left-hander in the bullpen an opportunity. I think as soon as he gets back behind the plate, you'll see the pitching coach make a slow walk out, and they're going to go to the bullpen here.
Williams walks to the backside of the mound.
I don't see any movement out of the Musketeers dugout. I thought that was a move to try to get somebody ready.
Got a lefty up now down in the pen.
Tate Shaw 0 for 1. Walked with the bases loaded in the first, hit by a pitch. That in the 3rd inning. Fly out to left in the 5th.
Doesn't have the protection on the outside of his shirt. Imagine he had to put some kind of wrap on it. That hit him in a bad spot.
One strike pitch to short. Given the toss. Altenberger back to first. Double play. And the inning is over. Longhorns get a run, leave 2 in scoring position. 4-2 going to the 8th. Longhorns looking for the series sweep here in Austin against the Xavier Musketeers. First ever series between these two schools. 4-2 ball game. Steve Lennox, Keith Moreland, Greg Swindell, and Michael McCann now behind the plate.
Now down to 1 catcher, and Michael McCann comes into the game, and Greg going to the bullpen. Get a freshman from right here from McCallum High School in Austin.
Mason Bryant in this ball game. So he's been up a couple times in the series, has not appeared. Making his 9th appearance. Really good arm. One of those young arms, you're still looking for that consistency out of the bullpen. Someone to get you more than 1 inning of consistency.
Well,
right.
You see the 13 punch outs in 8 innings. He's got the ability to put you away, but limit the base on balls, almost averaging 1 per inning.
Coy Cobb goes 7 in line for the win.
7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts through 107 pitches, 68 strikes.
107 pitches and those 8 strikeouts might be career highs. Are they close?
They are.
Workington 1 for 3 with a single. Coy Cobb, step in the right direction today.
Yes, no doubt. Looking for that Sunday guy. Solidified that. I mean, he pitched extremely well. Had an excellent changeup today. And it's a 3-0 count.
For Coy, it was his fastball was around the plate just enough, and the changeup looks just like the fastball coming out of his hand. That was what made things so effective today.
Bryant on in relief here in the 8th inning and a 2-run ball game. Williams got the double play ground ball to escape any further damage in the last inning. Workington flipped the bat away. He'll pick it up.
It's acting like he's adjusting his shin guard. But he's really trying to stay down there and say, probably talking out loud. Didn't mean to do that.
My apologies, sir.
Yes.
Please do not hold that against me.
But you better swing the bat.
He is swinging. Skies one in the air down the right field line. Todd and Tate Shaw both over to take a look. Ford also in there.
Well, there's not a lot of room in foul territory here at UFCU Disch-Falk Field, but especially when this wind is in this direction, it gets into the stands in a hurry.
Well, I haven't met Gus yet, but we know he has a left field line. Prior to the ball game, I met a young guy who was out there with his grandfather, Ron Meredith. And a leadoff base runner here in the 8th inning. And Trevor, who's 9 years old, was out there during Texas batting practice.
Doing everything he could do to get. Got 3.
He got 3. Talked with Trevor a little while. He's a ball player. Still bundled up. Dinosaurs there?
Yeah.
There you go. Some bring their. There you go. Dinosaur giveaway day and clinic after the game as well. Shepsky's had a strong series. 0 for 3 in this one, though. 2 strikeouts, reach on the 2-base error to lead off the 6th inning. Ball not fielded in left field on a fly ball to Eric Kennedy. Leadoff walk. So again, we had a 1-run ball game, and the time they got the base runner on, the tying run was on base. Now the tying run at the plate, and Shepsky's got 1 home run on the season. We've not seen a home run in this series, and breeze actually calmed down somewhat as we reach the late stages of this one. But last night, howling throughout. Bryant now working from the stretch. Count in his favor. Off the glove of the catcher, McCann throws down to second, and Workington gets in there safely.
Looking for this fastball away. Out in, I don't know how it missed.
I thought it hit the
I thought
batter.
it hit him. I definitely did too. I don't know how it missed him. Look at it again. Just missed him inside it. Actually caught Thornwell, the home plate umpire.
Bryant with a 2-2 delivery. Just missing below the knees. And he runs the count full.
Double barrel action in the Texas bullpen right now.
Cole Quintanilla and Tristan Stevens. Stevens on the left, Cole on the right.
Quintanilla pitched in the extra inning victory on Friday night. That one gets away from McCann, and 2 straight walks to open up the 8th inning for Mason Bryant.
I can guarantee you he won't be out there long. David Pierce does not like this situation, and he's on his way.
Going to the bullpen. Bryant hands the baseball over. Cobb, Bryant, and a new reliever for the Longhorns coming in and facing a 2-on, no-out situation when we come back to the dish.
With a fine arts degree from UT.
Old Coy Cobb, 7 strong innings in line for the victory. If the bullpen can hold on right now, that is a big if with 6 outs to go.
Tristan Stevens in the ball game now. See the starting pitching comparison this weekend. The Xavier Musketeers, the 14 2/3, 10 earned runs. Starting pitching for Texas has been outstanding. 19 innings, only 2 earned runs. See Coy Cobb with a 7 today and 1 earned run. You're taking a look right there at Blair Henley, the starter for Texas yesterday. Starting pitching has been really good this weekend.
It has, and Tristan Stevens, you know, this is a big opportunity. Cole Quintanilla I believe, is ready to go, but they were trying to limit this to get him to the 9th, where he only has 3 outs. But this is big right here. Maybe a bunt situation. Texas will be anticipating bunt here. Tying runs on base here. Nobody out in the top of the 8th.
This is what you got. Talked about how good the starting pitching has been. The bullpen in this series has pitched 9 innings, given up 7 hits and 8 earned runs. Also allowed 8 walks.
8 walks.
Stevens charged with 2 runs, walked 2, and struck out 2 in the extra inning victory on Friday night.
Signals come from the dugout right there on what defensive game plan they want to use, what bunt defense.
He walked the first 2 hitters in the 12th inning. McCann having some difficulties back there.
Well, you have the rotation play on. Greg, how many times have we talked about it? If you put rotation on, you've got to throw a strike. You want the hitter to put the bunt down.
Yeah, because you got your shortstop sprinting in, your first baseman's in, your third baseman's coming in. You're playing for the out at third.
Yeah, absolutely you are.
2 walks by Mason Bryant to open up the top of the 8th inning. Shot coming right down. He is on top of the hitter. Monastra at the plate. Monastra now 3 hits on the day, credited with a double in the 6th inning on a pop-up back at second base in short center field. Squares early. 1 play, it's to first. Sacrifice successful. 1-4, and the runners move up.
Well, it came off the bat so quickly. Might have had a shot at third. Stevens made that decision that, no, I'm just going to go get the out at first, and he does.
That's one thing as a pitcher. You read the speed of the bunt, but also how quickly you get to it. And once it hit the ground, it kind of deadened there for a second. And that took the play at third away.
Texas infield will be back.
We'll have a pinch hitter as Jack Hausinger, not in the starting lineup, started the first 2 games of this series and takes ball 1 down low. Hausinger was in the number 2 spot in the lineup over the first 2 games. Actually down in the lineup, I apologize. At 1 for 5 each of the first 2 games.
Guys, first 7 innings in this series, Xavier has scored 4 runs. Musketeers have 8 from the 8th inning on in all 3 of these ball games. So this has been their time to score runs.
Stevens falls behind in the count. They left the tying run at third base in the 9th inning last night. Game ended on a ground ball to short. Bokey was able to get the final out. Also got a double play ground ball prior to that. This one lined to center field. Ellis going back on it, makes the catch. Runner will tag from third. Workington will come in to score, and we've got a 1-run ball game once again.
That's a nice job as a pinch hitter. It's a cold day. You haven't done anything in more than 3 hours. You come to the plate, finally get a ball up that you can handle, and hit it right on the button. Drive that run in. Now it's going to take a base hit.
Shepsky at second, tying run, and Connor Gramis picked up an RBI with a ground out in the 6th inning. He is 0 for 2, started the game, and they're going to walk him intentionally to put runners at first and second. 3rd walk of the inning, first intentional free pass. And it looks like we'll have another pinch hitter.
We're going to have a pinch hitter, and we're going to have an offensive timeout here.
Luke Stevenson, backup catcher, started last night in the ball game. Billy O'Connor pulling out all the stops here. Trying to push across the tying run. He's got the tying run at second, the go-ahead run on at first base.
We talked about Texas maybe having to do that early in the game. You don't want to put the winning run on base. And
but now you're in the 8th. You're looking for an out. Graham is obviously hits in the 3rd spot most of the time. He's an RBI guy in the middle of your lineup.
Stevenson, 1 base hit, 2 walks last night, struck out once. Now 6 hits on the season. 5 of those hits, we touched on it last night in one game, that against Grand Canyon in the middle of March. And Stevens, we talked about it with Cobb and even Grammas early. Get ahead. Biggest pitch of an at bat. Strike 1, and he's ahead in the count. Now the options open up. Texas last night got a run in the 8th inning. Proved to be a big run against the Xavier bullpen. On the ground and foul down the 3rd base side. Texas pitching holding opponents to just 2 hits on the season in pinch hit opportunities over 24 at bats. Hausinger, pinch hitter, 2 hitters ago, picked up an RBI with a sac fly.
Just missed right there. Good location with that heater.
Had a couple breaking balls first 2 pitches and painted that one right there, just outside.
First run of the inning, charged to Mason Bryan. He walked 2 and was lifted. Little flare. And Ford has it get by him. Shepsky around 3rd. Here comes a throw to the plate. Shepsky scores, and we're tied at 4.
I mean, it wasn't pretty, but it was in the right spot. Just enough. And the wind helped pushing that away from Lance Ford at 2nd. Sort of a cue ball off the end of the bat, and the wind's just pushing it away from Ford. He can't quite get there to keep it in the infield. Todd makes a nice throw, but just late. Pinch runner at first base now for the Musketeers, who've tied it up.
Andrew Sexton, who we'll see in center field in the bottom of the inning, comes into the game to run. And back to the top for Chris Given.
Given has struggled in this series. Boy, he could come up with a big knock right here. Came into the series hitting .350, as Steve, you've talked about. He's been brilliant defensively, hasn't had many hits offensively. He's 1 for 13 in the series as he comes to the plate now.
And the way baseball goes, he is due. And conversation continues on the mound. Ivy and Quintanilla. Quintanilla has been up. Ivy.
We're going to see Cole in this. You can just see over the course of the weekend, guys, Texas had to come from behind twice on Friday night, once in the 10th to tie it, and then came up with a 3 spot in the bottom of the 12th. And we come back. We'll figure out how this comes to an end.
The eyes of Texas are upon Longhorn
Quintanilla, 3rd reliever used by Texas here in the 8th inning. He's making his 2nd appearance of the series, 13th overall.
A big situation right here. Come in this ball game, runners on the corners with 2 in already. Try to hold them. Again, kind of a reoccurring theme of the entire series.
Well, you just look at it. You're got to give Musketeers a lot of credit in this series. Now, I told you the number earlier. Now they've scored 10 runs from the 8th inning on for the rest of the ball games. In each of these 3 games, Texas has only scored 5 from the 8th inning on. They did score enough. They got those 4 in extra innings to come away with a victory Friday night. And Texas 8-2 in 1-run games. Well, this looks like it's boiling down to a 1-1 game right here. And see if Quintanilla can get an out. Tough customer to get right here, too.
And you got to be ready to block the ball if you're Michael McCann.
Oh, you're absolutely right, because they've scored every way they can with it already. You know, based on balls, they haven't got it. But one base hit to drive in a run. Most of the runs have scored via the base on balls or a hit by pitch.
Error.
Miscue.
Yeah.
Given walked in his first plate appearance to open up the game. Grounded to short, struck out, and lined out against Coy Cobb. And Coy Cobb, like Elder, Friday night leaving with a lead and will take a no decision. Quintanilla entered for Colby Kubicek in the 8th inning on Friday night. Came on with the bases loaded, hit a batter to force in a run, then gave up a sacrifice fly that brought in the 2nd run of the inning. And then got Workington on a ground ball out, but inherited 3 base runners and 2 scored, inherits 2 here. That's another part of the bullpen. Guys who have come in with runners on base. The inherited runners scoring numbers don't lie.
They got a chance to make a pitch right here and get out of it.
Bryant walked the first 2 batters of the inning and was lifted. Runner goes from first, and Given stays alive.
That's pretty aggressive right there to send that runner 1 and 2 right there.
Given's a contact guy. I mean, yeah, but it was the count. Exactly.
Yeah, that's.
Might be trying to set up a little tricky.
It could be here.
Quintanilla had 1 and 2. Runner goes again. Swing and a miss. Inning over. Quintanilla picks up the strikeout. 2 runs across. 4-4 ball game as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning here in Austin. Four ball game. Sexton entered as a pinch runner, stays in, and he patrols center field. Mason Hibbler walked in a pinch hit appearance in the 6th inning, and he starts things off. Hausinger stays in the game. He's at the hot corner playing 3rd. And you saw Shepsky come in. He's back in right field, but they could summon him in from right field and put him on the mound at some point.
He went down and threw off of the bullpen mound.
Possibly could have been a pitching change if they had taken the lead.
Could have been.
Keller Williams serves up a single to the leadoff hitter here in the 8th inning. Mason Hibbler is aboard with a base hit, and he represents the go-ahead run.
Bunt situation here. Duke's got excellent speed. Get this bunt down, force the defense to make a play, and when you got the middle part of the order with an opportunity to give yourself a lead. You talked about Texas, 8 and 2 in 1-run games, and that type of ball game here today.
Duke Ellis at one point had the only 2 hits. Singles in each of the first 2 innings. Bunt in the air at home plate, and Ellis retired, fails to get the bunt down. And that's the first out of the inning.
Makes it much more difficult to score now. It looked like he was, you can see him right there. See the barrel of the bat going underneath. We get a chance to see that again. You can see the very tip of the barrel going down. That's going to lead it going up. He was trying to push it toward the first base side.
To left field, Major makes the catch. He almost made that one look adventurous. 2 down after the leadoff single.
Hit and run. Texas has been good getting that leadoff guy to reach. Only 2 of those guys have come around to score. Hibbler does have good straightaway speed, and there was hit and run there, but he might be a great time to think about getting a base here.
Austin bunt base hit in the 7th inning and scored a run that at the time looked like an insurance run. We've got a 4-4 ball game in the bottom half of the 8th inning. First 2 games of this series decided by single runs. Taylor Williams, 4th pitcher used by Xavier in this ball game. Austin an RBI with a ground out back in the 1st inning. Texas led 3-0 until the 3rd. 2 ball 1 strike count.
Not be the best pitch of the at bat right here. You can pretty much set on fastball.
Swings through it.
He was trying to go yard right there.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to go yard right now. The line drive in the gap might be a little better.
Williams come close to a balk. He sets the front foot and then he sets it again.
Yeah, he comes set, but he does come to a complete stop. Now they'll play behind the runner at first. Advantage a little bit here for the Longhorns in the sense that you're going to get a guy with good speed in motion right here before the pitch.
As long as you do the same movement every time.
Runner goes, swing and a miss, inning over. A leadoff hit, nothing else doing. A man left on, 4-4 as we go to the 9th. Ninth inning in a tie ball game.
Put your blanket on, wrap up. Still got a lot of baseball left to go.
Xavier has left 9 runners on base. Texas has stranded 11.
10 innings in this series for the bullpen. A 9 ERA, 10 earned runs, 9 walks right there. 12 strikeouts, 9 walks out of the bullpen.
You know, we talk all the time, just real quickly. Greg, you hear me say it, and I'm a hitter. You know, another guy gets hit, another guy gets hit. It's contagious. Is the base on balls, could that be contagious?
I think it gets to a point to where guys coming out of the bullpen know that if they don't get the ball over the plate and walk, they're not going to be in the game. And I think it becomes a subconscious thing when you're on the mound.
Makes sense.
And you put pressure on yourself to throw strikes, and it works the opposite way.
Yeah. Start aiming a little bit instead of staying in rhythm.
Well, you're worried about going out of the game instead of worrying about your job.
Yeah.
Just throwing strikes.
Towards first and foul, Altenberger is 0 for 4. RBI ground out back in the 3rd inning, getting Xavier on the board with its first run. Coy Cobb, career high 8 strikeouts, 2 runs allowed, 1 earned over 7. No decision. Still looking for his first win in the Longhorn uniform. Altenberger will be followed by Major and Workington, 2, 3, 4. Hibbler deep short, throws to first offline, and it goes over the railing and into the dugout, and Altenberger reaches with a base hit and gets the second on the error.
Now that's one of them. There are times when you're forced to try to make a play, or you're trying to make a play where you'd be much better off just putting that in your pocket. You're not going to get the left-handed hitter going down the line. Just put it in your pocket right here. Trying to make a play going the other direction. Tate Shaw can't get to it. You can see the bounce off of the turf, the screen, and all of a sudden, man on second and nobody out.
Aubrey Major, base hit, 3 official at bats, has also walked once. We've not seen him really have to test that hamstring. We touched on it earlier. Last night late we noticed in his last at bat was favoring it going down the line on a base hit. And on the hands, and he fights it off. Xavier has not led at any point in this game. Texas coming behind on Friday, twice in extra innings, and also coming from behind on Saturday. One ball, two strike count.
A great tilt right there. We talk about it with Cole all the time, and he gets it right there with that velocity. It's just really difficult to get the barrel of the bat on top of it.
That one had tilt and a little run.
Yeah.
And he put him away, ahead 1-2. Ground ball right to the second baseman. Ford up with it, throws to first. That advances the runner. Major down in the count. Contact, able to pull it on the ground. Altenberger now at third, less than 2 outs.
Got to bring the infield up here. There's no way you can stay back in the top of the ninth in a tie ball game unless you're going to intentionally walk the guy and go into double play depth. You got to bring everybody up. You got to cut the run off at the plate.
Sean Ford up on the right side. Reynolds and Hibbler up on the left side. McCann blocks that one. Morganton led off the 8th with a walk against Bryant, came in to score. He has hit some lasers in this series, and now advantage with the infield up.
Reach down and get the pellets out of the turf.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's going to give you much.
It's almost something that he's probably been doing since Little League, so just natural reaction.
Yeah.
It's like they go into the box and rub out where dirt would be sometimes.
Yeah.
Or kick the dirt off with your bat.
There's going to be a generation in the future that won't even understand that. 2-2.
Dynamite pitch right there.
Again, the sink and tilt.
Last night, Xavier left the potential tying run at third in the 9th inning, trying to pick up the runner from third with less than 2 outs here in the 9th inning in a 4-4 ball game. Two down. Second strikeout for Cole Quintanilla.
He went right to the bread and butter right there. You know he's got the good breaking ball, but today that tilt with angle on it, that's pretty nasty.
Yeah, but sometimes you see guys relax. Oh, I got that big out. This is when you're, as a catcher, you're going to come right back to him and say, we got one more we got to get.
Cannot let up. Shepsky at the plate. 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Struck out in his first 2 at bats. 6 hits in the series. Xavier has struggled throughout the 3 games so far with runners in scoring position. Not making it easy on himself. Does have the base open, and Monastra, a right-handed batter on deck. Didn't give in. 2-1.
Two-0 breaking ball right there. You got him to swing over the top.
Will Thornwell, he has not called that pitch all day. He's not a high ball umpire.
Nope.
Xavier in the series 6 for 37 with runners in scoring position. They've had plenty of opportunities. Line drive to right field, base hit. Shepsky comes through, scoring from third is Altenberger. Xavier, its first lead of the day.
2-0, fell behind there. Greg went to the breaking ball. 2-0, got the swing and the miss. And then the 2-1 breaking ball was high. If you're going to throw it 2-1 and 2-0, come back with a fastball. For me, as a hitter, I'm looking for one pitch right there, and you got a fastball you can handle.
Fastball out over the plate.
Yep. Got it up.
19th run batted in on the season for Jake Shepsky. Natalia Monastra, the catcher.
That's a veteran guy, too. Played at Notre Dame, transferred in. You know, he's a senior transfer. He's been through a lot already.
He's really going to help them come conference play, which starts next weekend against Georgetown. Monastra, last plate appearance with a sacrifice. Runner goes, throw to second base. Gets by both middle infielders. Shepsky will stay put. Picks up the stolen base.
This is supposed to be a pitch out, but it was almost over the plate.
And sometimes young pitchers with pitch outs too slow down on their delivery to the plate. What was the first thing you learned? Slide, step, deliver.
Shepsky now in scoring position. Monastra at the plate, count in his favor.
How far is he off the plate?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Wow.
One ball, one strike count. Is there really any way he can get the barrel to cover the outer half of the plate here?
Got to dive.
You do have to dive, but also it makes it at times hard to hit that outer half.
One ball, two strike count.
He wouldn't get into that one.
Quintanilla giving up the lead or the go-ahead run here in the ninth inning. Texas down a run. Check swinging, went around. The ball goes to the backstop. McCann throws down to first base. Strikeout complete, and the inning is over. Shepsky, RBI base hit, giving Xavier its first lead of the ball game. Bottom of the ninth we go. Texas down a run. It'll be Zubia, Reynolds, and Ford. Bottom half of the ninth inning. Longhorns walked off at 12 on Friday night. 2 one-run victories. We've got a one-run ball game right now in the bottom half of the ninth inning.
11 runs, Steve, scored by the Musketeers in this series from the 8th inning on. We had a 12-inning affair on Friday night, 9 yesterday, and obviously 9 today. They've scored most of their runs after the 8th inning in this series.
Taylor Williams gave up a hit in the 8th inning, but nothing else. And he's going to be asked, as of right now, to get the final 3 outs. One of those ball games where he gets the final 3 outs, give him a win and a save. Save the rest of the bullpen. Zubia 0 for 2 and a pair of walks. Grounded out to second in his last at bat. And takes inside for ball 1.
Well, it's difficult to hit a ball out of here right now. Zach's got to find a way to be a base runner. And then I would think he would be lifted for a pinch runner if he can find a way to reach base.
Just a bit outside.
It hit the mascot.
And not on purpose.
Got to take a strike. Then paint. Then absolute paint right there.
Reminds me of Regan in the first. 3 straight walks, and then he struck out on 3 straight pitches, and all of a sudden Grammas had found the strike zone.
Yep.
Went right back there.
Well, you can't do anything with that, Steve. I mean, that's 90+ knee-high outside corner.
Zobia stays alive. 12 comeback wins on the season, including the 2 victories in this series. Xavier trying to leave Austin with a win, avoid a series sweep. They've been swept by North Carolina and Arizona State so far this season. Well, Thornwell.
It's not called a high pitch. Greg,
Right.
Greg mentioned it the entire ball game.
Yep, but he was hearing it from the third base dugout.
Yes, he was.
Payoff. We'll do it again. Xavier 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th to take the lead. Taylor Williams trying to close the door. In on the hands, right on the handle.
Ball 4 for sure right there.
Xavier bullpen this weekend, Friday night, went 4 innings, 6 hits, and gave up 4 earned runs. Since then, Saturday, 3 innings, just 1 hit and no earned runs. Today,
Given up the middle to his left. Flips over to first.
5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, and just 1 earned run. So they've gotten better as the weekend's gone along.
Yeah, their bullpen's been good. Don't hit it right there either, because that's like a vacuum cleaner.
Shortstop for Xavier, Chris Given, has been outstanding throughout the course of the series, throughout the course of this season, throughout the course of his Xavier career.
You're looking now for an extra base hit. Got to find a way. It's been hard to come by for Texas hitters.
Reynolds 1 for 4, sends one in the air to center field. Sexton 2 away.
Slow stroll back to the dugout right there.
Lance Ford RBI base hit in the 7th. 1 for 2 and a pair of walks. He's been on base 3 times. And takes a called strike 1. Two ball, 1 strike count. McCann would be next. Over 4,500 for the series finale here at Disch-Falk Field. Longhorns home Tuesday against Texas A&M. Back through the middle of the diamond, and Ford his 2nd hit of the ball game, tying run aboard here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. And with 2 outs, Michael McCann will stride to the plate.
Worked the count to a 3-1 count. Got a fastball out over the plate. Put a good swing on it. Looking at the scenario now. Playing no doubles. Musketeers really guarding the lines.
And ball 1 to McCann.
You're always, you see the outfield much deeper than it's been the entire ball game as well. They let something fall in. They want nothing over their heads right now.
Big cut comes up empty. Two ball, one strike count. Two walk-off wins against LSU in the series finale to complete that series sweep Friday night, and the opener against the Musketeers.
Williams has not thrown a breaking ball in this inning.
Falls behind 3-1. Now in danger of putting the tying run in scoring position.
Tate Shaw has been really good RBI situations all season long, looking for his chance.
Inside, ball 4, 2 on with 2 down. And in this situation, you cannot really run from a can because Caston Peter removed from the game earlier when he took a pitch off his hand at the plate.
Got a left-hander ready to go in the bullpen. This is gonna be, could be an interesting situation right here.
Trevor Olson, the left-hander.
Did not take the loss, but was on the mound when Duke Ellis came through with a 2-run base hit in the bottom of the 12th inning on Friday night. Nostra, arm around the shoulder of Taylor Williams.
This is basically to tell him that we're staying with you. And you're our guy right here. Just 42 pitches since coming into the game out of the bullpen.
Tate Shaw is 0 for 2, hit into an inning-ending double play in the 7th inning. Walked with the bases loaded way back in the first when Texas plated 3 runs against starter Connor Grammas. Tying run at second, potential winning run at first. Fly ball down the left field line, slicing and foul. Rattles around.
Outs 25, 26, and 27 are hard to get, aren't they?
Williams retiring the first 2 batters here in the 9th inning. Mason Hebler awaits on deck for the Longhorns, hoping for an opportunity. Shaw drives one in the air to right center field. Sexton going back, still going back. This one off the wall. Ford scores. Here comes McCann, and another walk-off winner for the Longhorns.
What was the old saying? The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
No doubt about it. It's one of those things, but you just looked at the scenario. You work and you look at the count, the base hit, then the walk, and then you work a great count. And Tate Shaw all season long, guys, has been the best in that scenario. And boy, he got a fastball out over the plate, put a charge into it, rode the wind as well. And he was watching right there, understanding they needed an extra base hit. They got it at the right time.
You were calling it all game, all series long.
I mean, he put a charge into it. That ball was off the wall, halfway up the wall.
6-5 Friday night walk-off fashion. 6-5. They held on by the skin of their teeth on Saturday in a 6-5 winner, and walk-off fashion in the bottom half of the ninth inning in this one.
All three same score.
Well,
in same type games.
It was the same type game. It was going to ball down to the end, and then, you know, you looked at the walks early. Texas didn't take advantage of, Steve. They put the 3 spot early, but couldn't take advantage of all the walks. But the biggest walk of the game is the Michael McCann walk. There's a righty-righty matchup with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, and you bring a left-hander to the plate, and Tate Shaw gives Texas the victory.
13th comeback win of the season for the Longhorns. Series sweeps at home against LSU, now Xavier, and Texas A&M in what will be in front of a sellout crowd here at the Dish on Tuesday night. There's Tate's brother.
Colin Shaw right there in the white shirt. Parker French with the hat on, and we got the eyes of Texas.
Texas wins 6-5. They sweep the series against Xavier. We'll take a break and hear from today's hero, Tate Shaw, when we come back on LHN. Against the Xavier Musketeers, Steve Lennox, Keith Moreland, Greg Swindell upstairs. Tate Shaw, today's hero of the ball game, joins us now. 2-run double in the bottom half of the ninth inning. You got beat up a little bit by your teammates, but I'm sure you'll take it. It's got to feel awfully good right now.
Oh, it feels great, especially to do it twice in one weekend. It's a great weekend.
One of the things, Tate, you've been around here a while. You've seen a lot of different things over the course of your career at Texas. You go back a few years ago, 1-run games were so hard to win. Now, all of a sudden, you're 9-2 in 1-1 games, and somebody comes up being the hero every night. Talk to us about the growth of this ball club.
Oh, it's been amazing. I think it's just the culture that Coach Pierce has brought to this program. He just teaches us to work hard, grit, play the whole game, and then whatever happens, happens.
How about Friday night? You have to come back twice. Tonight, you have to. This afternoon, you come back once. What's the attitude in the dugout in those 3 innings to have to come back like that?
Honestly, nothing really changes.
Well, it doesn't. Ryan Reynolds got you where you know who it is.
Duke Ellis got it Friday night. Tate gets it today. Ryan was also in there. Duke stayed with us. There goes Duke.
Just keep your eyes closed, Tate. We'll talk to you.
Yeah, it's hurting. I thought I saw him come out here.
5-11, by the way.
Whew.
You got to at least bring the towel for you.
Yeah, what was that?
Tate, I know you can't talk to us right now. You're trying to keep your eyes open. Here comes a towel.
Thank you.
Try to get to it, but you know, you're going away from non-conference. You're coming home and home. You've got everything that's going on. I know you can't hardly hear us, but talk to us about now the future. We're about the halfway point. You already got some conference games over there, but there's a lot out in front of y'all.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting rolling, baby.
Hey, what are you thinking about Tuesday?
Oh, that'll be fun. I actually forgot we were playing them this week.
Well, we'll let you go and get the shaving cream off your face.
All
Congratulations
right.
on the big hit and the sweep.
Thank you.
Tate Shaw again. 2-run double in the bottom half of the ninth inning. And the pie to the face from Ryan Reynolds and Duke as well. 6-5 victory for the Longhorns. Longhorns Sunday looking for the series sweep against Xavier. Coy Cobb getting the start. He was solid early on.
Yeah, he did a really nice job, and then later in the ball game, defense got involved into it at the same time, and you just look at the scenario. Texas looked like they were going to get off to a great start, and they did offensively.
9 batters came to the plate in the first inning. They plated 3 runs against Connor Grammas, the starter.
Yeah, they took advantage of the miscues of the base on balls and found a way to build a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, Connor Grammas could not get the ball over the plate, and Texas took advantage early and would take a 3-0 lead.
It was 3-0 after 1, 3-0 after 2 as they sent 9 batters to the plate in the first inning. 8th inning, Xavier got back into the ball game against the bullpen.
Well, to get a base hit the other way, and just like this, you look up and Xavier's found a way to tie the ball game up.
Then in the 9th inning, Xavier pushed across what was the go-ahead run.
Well, they get the base hit. The miscue on the first play. It was a base hit. Ball's thrown away right there, Greg, and because of that, they get a runner in scoring position.
It's a Xavier team that never gave up all weekend. Right there, Shepsy gets a base hit to right field. It sends home the go-ahead run.
Bottom of the 9th inning, Taylor Williams got the first 2 batters, and then Mr. Ford got things going.
Base hit to center, and then Tate Shaw gets it. 2-1 pitch, rips it against the wall. Walk-off style, Texas comes away with the 6-5 victory.
Steve Lennox, Keith Moreland, Greg Swindell in the booth. 6-5 victory. Longhorns do sweep the series. They walk away feeling good. We'll talk about Texas A&M in just a few moments, but the never die attitude of the offense in the bottom half of the 9th inning ultimately comes through.
Well, 9-2 this season in 1-run games, and that's important. You've got to find a way to win those games. You go back and look at this game, though. When you analyze the game, Texas had plenty of opportunities with all the base on balls that the Musketeers gave them to expand the lead. They didn't. That's a credit to them, but also that's one of the things you got to work on if you're a Longhorn player right now. We can't score early and just set on it. We got to find a way to score it throughout the ballgame.
They had 8 free passes in the first 3 innings and got the runs in the first inning. Could not do anything after that. Extra base hits. We talk about it all weekend. They didn't get one until the game winner to end the game. If they do that earlier in the game, this game's obviously doesn't go down to the last inning.
But if you take that a step further, maybe the best outing we've seen, second best or one of the best in Cobb's time. He's starting to establish himself on Sunday. Texas has got good pitching on Friday night from Elder. Henley's been really good over the last 5 to 6 weeks. Now, all of a sudden, you're finding a guy maybe coming into his own, a true freshman in Corey Cobb.
Yeah, your starting pitching, we talked about that's been solid for most of the season. Now, good to see Cobb get in the mix. Now you got to find out where you're at in the bullpen.
Yeah.
That's been a struggle. Is it going to be just 1 inning? You go 6 innings in, 1-1-1 to end the game. So you got to figure that out. It's a big game Tuesday, but you really need to figure it out before you get back in the conference.
Yeah, Cole Quintanilla appeared, got the win today, did a nice job out of the bullpen. But you're going to have to find other arms, as Greg was saying right there, Steve, who you can count on to come in and get that big out in the 7th or that big out in the 6th, maybe give you the 7th, to where you can get the Fields and Quintanilla.
You get a couple innings out of it.
Yeah, you're going to have to find a way to expand and get some. Bullpen struggled over the course of this weekend.
Now you move forward, 3 straight victories in this series. Texas A&M and what's going to be a sellout crowd here at the Dish on Tuesday night.
That's all you got to say. The Aggies are coming to town. I mean, either if Texas is there or the Texas A&M comes here, it's sold out. The place will be it'll have that super regional feel to it again. Electricity will be in the ballpark, and they'll be whooping it up, and the Longhorns will be hooking them. So it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, that's a great ball game. But the biggest thing on that thing for me, that's a non-conference game. Yes, it's important in national standings and everything, but that trip to Baylor is going to be really crucial. Road trip. On the road, Baylor's been playing very good baseball, and that's going to be an important series for Texas.
And after next weekend, you've touched on it. You've got 3 big series, TCU, Texas Tech, Baylor.
Out of the way.
Out of the way.
And that's going to be important. You can start building in the second half of the season. At this point, 20th victory of the year. We talked about that. That was very important. Also ended up 13-8 in the month of March against – there's no way anybody had that kind of schedule in the month of March that Texas had.
Xavier swept for the 3rd time this season against North Carolina, Arizona State, and now the Texas Longhorns. The Longhorns back in action on Tuesday against Texas A&M. Again, Coy Cobb establishing a new career high with 8 strikeouts. He was in line for the win. Bullpen could not hold on to it, but the heroics late in the ball game in the bottom half of the 9th inning from Tate Shaw with a 2-run double that ended it. Again, the final, Texas victorious over Xavier 6-5. The next Texas baseball game on LHN Tuesday, April 9th against the Rice Owls. For Greg Swindell and Keith Moreland, I'm Steve Lennox. We say so long from the Dish.